Sales is by far the best way to start making money online. So this is the full guide that's going to show you what high ticket sales is, why it's the best vehicle for you, then a full guide on how to start selling and then become either an appointment setter or remote sales rep that can make anywhere from $5,000 to $30,000 every single month from either sending DMs on your phone or selling people on calls. Now, this training I'm giving to you has already helped people like Catherine in 3 months go from a 9-to-5 job to then leaving it and starting high ticket sales, who is now making £10,000 every single month, which is around $12,000. Or Andrew again, who was skeptical about what sales was. Watch this full free training I'm giving to you for free and now makes $8,000 to $12,000 a month as a remote closer. And I can give you so many more examples, but I'm gonna now let you see for yourself, as the only difference between you and them is they took the information and went and acted upon it. So all I can ask for your own benefit is to watch the first section on what high ticket sales is and why it's the best vehicle for you. And if you agree, you can watch the rest of this video, and if you don't, you can just click off. You lose nothing. But don't take this opportunity away from yourself to have location, financial, and time. So appointment setters, closers, 9-to-5ers, or literally anyone watching this video, welcome to the full free course on how to get into sales to start making $10,000 every single month from anywhere in the world. So this is us at a mastermind. We've worked with over 200 plus agencies and coaches already doing placing high ticket setters and closers before. So we've repeated this process hundreds and hundreds of times. So we know exactly why this works, why it's the best skill for you to learn and to get started in. You can see, like I was talking about, Catherine now making $10,000 to $12,000 every single month from a high ticket closing role. Catiano, who literally all he does is send DMs on his phone from appointment setting, which is what I'm going to show you in this video, is now making $2,000 to $4,000 a month. Seb, who was watching this 8 days ago, then got trained and placed in 8 days after being skeptical, not knowing what this was, to now making $15,000 a month. Andrew, again, high ticket closing, who I was speaking about, $8,000 to $12,000 a month. So what is high ticket sales? Okay, in high ticket sales, there are 2 different roles which you can choose, which I'm going to show you today. And you can see in the results, I've mentioned either an appointment setter or closer. These are the 2 different ones that, again, like I said, I'm going to show you, train you on from A to Z, absolutely everything you need to know to get started today. So appointment setting. Now, appointment settings is someone who has the main goal to book someone on a call. So let's say you've ever followed someone before, you may have got a message from them. Now, that's not actually them messaging you. What that is an appointment setter doing that for them to try and sell their services and book them in on the call. So with the appointment setter, all you're doing is typing messages on your phone, okay? This can be messaging new followers, calling leads that opted into trainings that are going to be warm coming to your client. So let's say, for example, I have an offer that's either selling I'm an agency selling solar businesses Facebook ads. Any single time that someone, I don't have to do the legwork, I don't have to run the ads, I don't have to do the delivery. All I have to do is book them in on a call by sending DMs. I get the framework. And again, if I'm getting thousands of leads a day, I have the potential to make $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month by literally just booking them in because I take a commission of the sale. So that's an appointment setter, sending DMs from your phone. Now, a high ticket closer will make more than the actual appointment setter, but he takes the calls that the appointment setter books on. So it's a little more legwork for you people that are maybe a little bit more extroverted. So for example, I would personally probably rather be an appointment setter than a closer, but I know my business partner would rather be a closer than an appointment setter. So it's kind of just depending on your personality type and what you'd rather do and what you'd rather be, okay? So this is the last line of sale, which means that if you can directly generate an outcome out of this, okay? Again, these will be very warm leads if they've booked in on a call and taken the time out of their day to show up. So these people that the appointment setter have booked in are ready to buy. So all you have to do is jump on, handle any objections, which I'll go over in this video, and then they'll pay on the call. Like I said, if, for example, you close a deal for $5,000 and you take 10%, you're making $500 from a 30-minute call. That's a pretty good hourly rate, okay? Both options are great, and if you're still unsure, I recommend, like I said, watch the full training, and I'll show you how both roles work, what they both are, which one's best for you, and then you can obviously make a decision. Most people start with appointment setting and then move down to high-ticket closing as they progress and as they grow. So, yeah, depends which one you want to be, but, yeah. So why high ticket sales? So sales is a number 1 skill set to learn, okay? As an entrepreneur, it's imperative to understand that every single person needs sales. Whether you want to start a business at some point, whether you want to just live a good life, learning to sell is the number one thing that you need to do. Okay, sales is the best skill set. It's better than anything else that you could learn possibly. Okay, you get into a 2 to 8K a month role very simply. You know, there's so many people, agencies, coaches that need appointment setters and closers. It's such an in-demand skill that you could come in and land a 2 to 8K a month role like Seb did, landed a 15K role in 8 days because it's just so in demand. Tap into the $1 billion info space. We all know that courses, coaches are the biggest industry right now, and they'll always be growing, which means if you jump into the industry with them, you're only going to be in a growing industry. But like I said, you don't have to do the delivery, you don't have to do the marketing. All you do is strap onto that business, take the sales. As it grows, you grow. That company, I've seen companies do before millions of dollars every single month. Obviously, they'd have multiple setters, multiple closers, but just imagine your commissions, right? 100% no profit, no delivery, no stress. This is what I sometimes envy when I run my own personal agency of high ticket setters and closers as well, is the fact that they don't have to deliver for the client. They don't have to do marketing. They don't have to do anything. All they have to do is turn up, take the call, or turn up, send DMs, and just take a cut and leave. They can forget, they can turn their phone off when they go on holiday, they can do all this. They're not this overworked entrepreneur. They're literally just a very skilled, leveraged person in a very good position, which is why high ticket sales is so good. Make a lot of money, no stress, $1 billion info, and it's the best skill set that you could possibly learn. And also, you could just make money and travel the world. I'm 20 years old, and a lot of people forget, and I forget personally, that I live a very dream life to a lot of people. I travel to a lot of places. I've got very nice cars. I live a good life if you could look at it like that, okay? So high ticket sales is the best way you can be free, no teams, you don't have to build massive systems. You're free, you make 5 to 10K a month, and you can travel anywhere in the world. And like I said, I'm 20 years old. I've been running, a business, and I've been in high ticket and working with appointment setters for the last 3 years now. And yeah, it's really generated a life that, I couldn't be more happy with, right? The beginning of growth as well, okay? Especially when you're in a 9 to 5. Escaping that 9 to 5 by starting a business is impossible because you have to, like I said, do the delivery, do the marketing, everything like that. So if you want to leave your 9 to 5 and you're in one or you're in school, you know that you lack time, which is why this is perfect, because in between lessons or in between work, you can send DMs, or what you can do is after work, because of time zones, is get, let's say, an appointment setting role in Australia because they're 8 hours ahead, let's say, or 8 hours behind, let's say, and what would happen because of that is when you finish work, they may be waking up, so you can start the morning shift, but your end, right? So you can really do it around your 9 to 5. And again, once you start making that income, you can leave and make it full time, which like Catherine did and a lot of other people do as well. It's a massive opener. You learn a bunch of skills, you build a good network, you get results, you free up time. You work in these businesses doing millions of dollars a month. So let's say in 1, 2, 3 years, you then want to go and start your own business. You've got all the insights that you would possibly need to start scaling it up. Okay. So this free course will first teach you appointment setting. So what appointment setting is, setting appointments, tracking KPIs, and then finding you a job role guaranteed, but also closing. What is high ticket sales, pre-call checklist, closing deals, tracking and reporting, and also landing a high ticket closing role. So this full guide is going to teach you everything from both sectors of appointment setting and also high ticket sales. Everything from A to Z, from learning it to then getting a role yourself, everything that you possibly need to know. We've worked with some of the biggest people in the industry and placed setters and closers into their business. So we know what they're looking for, what makes a very good setter and closer, how to maximize your commissions, and everything like that. Okay. Quick note, all these sheets, scripts, tools, and everything, I'm going to give away to you for complete free as well. I feel like I'm Mr. Beast here, just giving away everything for free. But again, DM me the word tools at Harvey Warner. The link is down below. It will link my Instagram. Go to my Instagram, drop me a follow, send me a message and message me tools, and I'll send you over whatever you want inside of this video. Any questions I'll obviously answer as well. So yeah, I'll speak to you guys soon. Hopefully you enjoy this full guide. If that does interest you, then like I said, make sure you do justice yourself to watch this video to the very end. If this isn't for you, that's completely fine. You've heard me out. I appreciate that. But yeah, now get into the full guide. I'll speak to you guys at the end of the video, and yeah, peace. So appointment setting, let's learn exactly how we can be the best appointment setter, how we can learn the skills, how we can just go from someone that has no idea what they're doing to a very, very certified appointment setter. And then from there, we'll obviously find out how to land a role, how to deliver in the role, etc., etc. So we now have the ability as the appointment setter, if you've not kept pushing, congrats, but it's now time to become a killer appointment setter to make the most of our commission. Okay, leverage stacking, this is what we're going to cover. Leverage stacking and plus becoming the client, inbound setting, outbound setting, inbound dialing, objection handling, and a live training as well from one of our setters that we personally got on a training call with, so you can see easy things that we can pick up on, changes, etc. You can hopefully learn as well. So let me jump straight into leverage stacking, what it's about, how it works. So what a lot of setters do is they come into a role and they do not enforce what they need out of belief the client should do it. Okay, this is a bad belief clients, people like setters going into roles have. They're like, the client should give me everything. This is not true, and it's not going to happen, and it's a victim mentality. You're going to kind of set yourself up for failure. Then when they do not get results because they do not have the right info, they blame the client. But you can blame the client all you want. They don't make any money. You get fired from the role. So there is a sheet I advise all of you to use. Again, these insights I'm going to be dropping you are crazy, crazy value that you probably haven't seen before. So you can arm yourself best possible for the role, because it is simple as just following it's not as simple as just following a script. You need to have assets and leverage behind you. If you don't have these assets and leverage sheets I'm about to show you, then you're never going to be able to grow in that role. So I recommend everything that I tell you here, obviously DM us on multiply setting to get the access to it. But if I show you something, for example, the leverage breakdown sheet, start building it now. Have it ready, so as soon as you come on board with a new client, you can give it to them, be like, hey, can you fill this out? Cool, done. That's how simple it needs to be, okay? So we can't just turn up empty-handed. So leverage breakdown. The leverage breakdown sheet is going to compile everything they need to provide us to help with objections, okay? So we're going to get objections from clients. I need to think about it. I'm not too sure, maybe in the future. And you're going to get this from pretty much every single client. It's going to be very rare where a client's like, a prospect, sorry, is like, yep, let me sign up, okay? So we need to handle these objections, and the only way we're going to do them is with results, case studies, assets, okay? So follow the sheet below. As you can see here, this is what we give to one of our clients and some of our clients, but this is what, you know, our personal one. So you can see the info at the start of the sentences. Even if you're using the structures, make sure to acknowledge the prospect, just some info about that. But the client's biggest pains, we give them, and we want to know from the client what their prospect's biggest pains are, because they know it best. For example, like as the business owner, and like I always say, as the business owner, and also knowing setting very well, I know both angles. Business owners know exactly their targeted pain point and what the biggest problem is. So for example, for us, it's like they're struggling to book consistent calls, struggling to validate a high ticket offer, struggling to build teams and scale and automate, selling clients consistently. Because before you, they spoke to these people, they've met these people, they've networked with these people, they know the biggest pains. So be like, okay, what are the 4 biggest pains? Okay, and they're going to fill that out. Then we want to know the client's goals. So we now know what the pains are going to be, so we can start digging for that as soon as we get in the DMs. But then also, what are the biggest goals? Revenue goals of theirs, X amount of clients, X calls every day. What are their goals? Normally it's the opposite to the pain, but obviously just ask for it as well. Okay. Next I'm going to go over this more in the business breakdown, but the offer breakdown, make sure to just ask them, hey, break down this offer. What's the pricing? How does it work? What are the deliverables? What am I actually selling? As soon as you know exactly what you're selling and you know all the deliverables, it's a lot easier to sell something, okay? And then main results to leverage, if they're a coach, for example, in our case, it could be like scaled a crypto coach to 250k, Ash White 0 to 150 on ads, 12k cash selected, Jason Kubson 5+ calls. If you're an agency, leverage these results, okay? This will allow you to objection handle a lot better, okay, because you know these are the pains you're looking out for. For example, let's say they're struggling to validate a high ticket offer and they're giving you objections, like you're charging 1k and you should be charging 10k. Let's say this is the offer. You could be like, well, personally, we helped Xavier go from charging 1.9k to $14,000 deals by doing X, Y, and Z. He was in a similar situation to you, blah, blah, blah. Book a call, okay? So it's now helping you have leverage, because if you don't have any of this, you're just waffling. You're just saying random words to random prospects in the hopes they convert, but most likely they probably won't. Okay, then business breakdown. Okay, we need a breakdown of the business. Like I said, what the offer is, the exact deliverables, how it helps in certain situations, pricing, team members, about the actual client himself or herself, further knowledge on the business as a whole. So if it ever comes up in conversations, you have the answers. Obviously, as well, as you start getting these questions, as you will find when you're, setting, they will be like, so how many? Genuinely, like, if it's an older offer, it'll be like, oh, so how many kids do you personally have? You need to know that kind of answer. It sounds weird, but you're going to need to know it. All this personal information, how many team members you currently have, how many clients you're currently working with. These are questions that people are just going to naturally ask, and you can't just not answer them. You have to answer them. So we need to know exactly what they are, okay? So becoming the client, okay? I wanted to add this in the same section as obviously the business breakdown, getting the deliverables, etc., because it follows the same rule of leverage stack. Most business owners will try appointment setting themselves and then hire a setter, which causes the conversion rate to drop, and no one can ever figure out why, okay? And it's for two main reasons, okay? So when you come into a role, what happens a lot of the time is the client's like, hey, my conversion rate has dropped massively, leave, you're awful, because they've been doing the setting before. But there's two main reasons why this happens, and I want to show you exactly what you can do to make sure it doesn't happen, okay? So firstly, the main issue is they don't know how to speak like the client, okay? You should have a sheet that breaks down the client, or a session where you could really learn them and how they speak, what it is like, their life, etc., so you can speak as if you were them. The reason we need to do this is because the leads will be watching a lot of their content. So if they believe they know someone and how someone speaks, you've got to understand these prospects are going to be watching their content, watching their ads. They're gonna feel like they know that person very deep inside. Now, if they've got this idea in their head, if I go full screen, if they've got this idea in their head of who you are, certain verbiage you use, certain language, certain ways you speak, and then on the other spectrum, you're speaking how you're speaking. For example, if I was speaking how I am right now, but I was in a maybe like 50, 60-year-old's offer, it'd sound a little weird. It'd be like, oh, it wouldn't convert as highly. I'd have to use, I don't know, like sir or something. I don't know, just you get what I mean, right? Or if I was in a younger role, for example, when I'm selling a younger role, it'd be more like, like, bro, you done this, the X, Y, and Z. And I'll obviously get into this and I'll show you how that works. But we need to align with the actual client, okay? So yeah, another good way to do this is by personally watching their content, learning more about themselves, watching past calls, looking at past DMs as well, seeing just how they speak, how they flow, and everything like that. So yeah, I'd recommend firstly, just get a sheet that just kind of breaks down who are you. What's your age? What do you like doing? What do you not like doing? X, Y, and Z. But then just consume as much of their content as possible, okay? As soon as we can do this, we learn exactly who they are, what they like, what they don't like, and how to speak like them, okay? Now, the second issue that we see after they don't know how to speak like the client, they don't know how to speak to the prospect, okay? Like I was just speaking about, knowing who you're speaking to is key, okay, to the tiniest details. For example, if you're working with an 18-year-old dropshipping coach, you're going to use words like bro, man, my guy, let's get it, killer, shredding it, run it up, okay? You're going to use these words naturally. Whereas if you're working with a financial advisor for 50 plus roles, you're going to use more formal language, okay? Along with different words and approaches with the right punctuation. So you need to know exactly who you're speaking to. Not only this in the way that you speak, but the way you lead conversations. I've seen problems before where we've brought on a setter, and what's happened is we've put them into a role where the client has, they're targeting like mums and stuff for like a fitness offer. It's like mums trying to get in shape. The prospect is speaking as if it's an 18-year-old with no money just getting out of college, like going on the wrong pain points. The pain point of the mum is she can't get in shape while she has to look after our kids. So we need to work around that. The problem isn't a price objection, yet they go straight into like, the price objection, X, Y, and Z, and try and solve that when it isn't that. So we need to know exactly who we're speaking to. This does not just apply for the wording, but also conversating. If the prospect usually have a time constraint around kids, and like I said, miss objection handling that at the start, you're going to get a lot of no's. It's one of the prospect's client sheets. You can see here, user avatar, Dan Smith. And again, like I said, I recommend you give this to all of the clients that you get on board. Demographic, what is their average age? What's the gender? What's their occupation usually? What's their salary and dividends? What's their crypto portfolio? This is kind of niche towards crypto, but in their terms, it could be like a finance question. It could be a previous experience, marital status, children, look how in depth that is. Children, 2 kids, 7 and 10, married, location, fears, being too busy, losing money, fear of missing out, fear, challenges, time poverty, information overload, lack confidence, lack of trust, pain points, did not make as much money as desired, previously missed investment opportunities, need someone to walk them through how to navigate the tech, goals, products, bro, there's even here on like sources of info. What do they read? They read stuff like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich. They read magazines, they read newsletters, Morning Brew, AFR, their social media channels. You can see how in-depth this are. So we are speaking exactly to this demographic, this type of audience, so we know how to then navigate it. Okay, so make sure you get this off the client. This is the business breakdown. So now you know the business, and this is before you've even started. This is what we're starting from, like all the way back here to make sure that we can succeed as far front as possible. Leverage breakdown. So what obviously the prospect's biggest problems, becoming the client, learning who they are, the offer, the teams, how to speak like them, and then how to speak to the prospect. Okay. Now we've done that, we have the sheets ready, it's now time to inbound set. I want to walk you in depth A to Z on how to inbound set, so anyone can do this, even from just opening social media. Now, personally, I'm going to first show you on Instagram. All of the platforms are very, very similar. For example, this is Luke's account. All the platforms are going to be super, super similar. X, Facebook, all the same. You're going to follow this same type of order of who I'm going to be going after first and then go from there. Okay, so first one that you'd obviously go for are going to be in the requests. Okay, so if someone's asking you questions, I know there was one that we had to get to. There's a bunch of crazy stuff in requests once you grow a little bit. There was one that I saw the other day, and it was just asking a question about something. But this is where you can start, if people are in here, brother, generally crushing it, you can message them and then start the conversational workflow. Again, I'm going to get into the conversational workflow in a minute. I firstly just want to go through a couple of these, permission, etc. There's, for example, hey, look, just saw your video about charging low ticket. I understand and respect your opinion. I just want to ask about your views on charging lower to start to build a portfolio. Then what the setter would come in here and do and be like, hey, no chance you'd do this. You'd want to do this and this. Do you want to learn how to start charging high ticket? Yes, okay, booking a call. You can then, so this is going to be your warmest place. People DMing you, asking for advice. Okay, so this is going to be step one. Come into here. If you're a setter that's just been placed into a role, come into here, come into the DMs. Again, whether it's Facebook, X, LinkedIn, whatever it is, come into the request message. That's going to be number one. Number two is going to be comment call to actions. Now, you will see less of this on, again, LinkedIn, X, etc. But comments in general, people, again, taking action a step towards you in a very open spot. So let's look at some call to actions that did okay. Let's look at this one. So this one is calling out agency owners by client anywhere from X to X. Again, this depends on if the client does comment call to actions. They may not, which is completely fine. But if they do, this is the second best way to convert them into prospects. Every single one of these leads here, you see, has a problem. They can't charge high ticket, right? Which is why they've commented high ticket to get Luke's free training. Comment high ticket and I'll send you a training over. High ticket, high ticket, high ticket. From this one alone, our appointment setter closed this guy and our appointment setter closed this guy. That's 2 closed deals from a total of 56 comments, but you divide that by 2, you're looking at like what? 58, right? No, 38, so 28, right? You're looking at 28. 28 comments, we closed 2 of them. It's one of the highest leverage points you can go to. Now, if they're not on comments and they're not doing comment call to actions, the next best place to go is their most recent followers, okay? Anyone that started recently following are going to be the people that you want to reach out to because, again, like I said, they've recently started following. They're followed for a reason. They're learning something. There's a reason why they've dropped that follow. They have taken a step forward. Again, this why inbound setting is so good is because they're taking a step forward towards you. That's number 3. Number 4 is going to be inbound likes, okay? One of the least warmest out of all of them. But if they like your post, they're obviously, warm, they're liking stuff, but it's a lot less than followers. This This is like your last options now, okay? The last option, number 5, I think it is old followers and old likes. So go through any followers that they've had, especially if you're not new to the account. If you're new to the account, you can go back. For example, let's say you've just got put into this account. There's technically 6,197 leads that you can go back and message. Again, with like likes on posts, etc., you've got 115 here who you can go and message. Again, same applies for Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, X. Just want to quickly show you in order where you should be going to find the prospects inside of their accounts. I now want to go through how conversations should look. So as I just went over there, inbound DMs, comment call to actions, new followers, story views as well. There just wasn't a story up, and then likes. Okay, so for example, this is how your lead conversation should go. I want to show you some live examples, then I want to go into a live kind of action back and forth. So the inbound script template all follows the exact same kind of process. You find someone from a follower. Let's say someone's just followed you. You then open up the message. Where did they come from? Hey, first name, so you just followed me. Hey, first name, appreciate the comment. Okay, you're going to pair these together. So you're going to send something like, hey, first name, appreciate the comment, or something like that, whatever, they've done. Just opening it up. Why are you messaging me? Okay, just making that super clear. Hey, first name, so you followed me. And then discovery. After that, we want to send that, and then just ask them a question about something, okay? It could be, what's the reason you followed me? Are you in the X space too? How long have you been doing X? How many years have been, just find out that initial phase behind them, okay? For us personally, obviously we help agencies and coaches. We go something like, hey man, appreciate the follow. Are you in the agency or coaching space? Or do you run an agency or coaching business? If they say no, they're unqualified, we don't message them. If they say yes, we now have a prospect that we have the ability to convert into a client. Free money, right? So you're going to have a high response of yes, because most people following will do, okay? So now they say, yep, it could be like something like, now you want to figure out their desired situation. You can obviously go more in discovery, and this is what I'll start to kind of teach you guys is like, now they've said yes. Let's say, for example, you said the agency and coaching thing, they said yes. We now just want to discover a little bit more. We don't want to go straight into a desired situation. We can stay in the discovery phase for a little bit. Cool, man, what offer are you pushing right now? I'm a coach who helps, retirement pensioners build their will or something like that. Okay, let's just say that's their offer. Cool. Okay, cool. That's your offer. How many clients are you currently working with? Still in this discovery phase. Just trying to find out who they are, who they're working with, how many people they're working with, so I could just get a basis. Because if we go straight into, are you working? Okay, what's your goals? It's a bit formal, right? It's a bit too much, okay? How many clients you working with? Currently working with 10 right now. Now we understand their client situation, which you're always going to need to find the desired situation off the back of something, okay? It could be like, let's say it really depends on the client and the customer avatar. For example, agencies and coaches who I'm targeting want to sign more clients. So I ask them how many clients you're working with, and then their desired situation can be like, how many clients do you want to be working with by this time? That separates the gap, because all we're doing, I don't know if the pen actually allows me to draw on here, is we're building a gap from where they currently are here to over here. This is what we're trying to do, okay? So in this phase here, we want to be just building pain at every single point to get them, because they're just happy, right? As soon as you come into the conversation, they're happy. You now need to bring them over to this stage here, and like moving this kind of phases is building that pain, okay? So we now understand the 10 clients. For again, it could be like discovery. It could be like if you're trying to help them save time, if you're helping business owners save time, it could be like, right, I'm going to go with that one. Business owners save time. It could be like, how many hours a week you working on this? 14. How many hours are you wanting to work on this while still holding and scaling the same revenue? X, Y, and Z. If you're setting for a solar company, how much is your electricity bill right now? Or are you currently with solar? No. How much is your current electricity bill? X, Y, and Z. Desired situation. How would it feel if it was this? Just getting them to, what is it now? Desired situation. Get them thinking about that goal and where they want to be to separate. You just want to make this separation. That's all you're trying to do. Separate these two. Where I am, where I want to go. Once you've separated that, it's now time to open them up, okay? What's holding them back? So obviously they want, for example, let's say more clients. What's stopping you from achieving that now? Now they're either going to hit you with one of three things. They're going to hit you with an objection like, oh, I will with time. And then you can kind of break it down from there. It could be like, okay, so how many clients have you signed in the past month? Okay, what are you going to do differently from now until then? Oh, I'm going to do increase my ad spend. What's your ad spend now? Okay, so if your ads are currently generating a 2x return, it's going to take you a lot longer than that, and it's going to cost you this. Get them to understand the pain. What's holding you back? I can't find enough team members. Okay, just whatever is holding them back from being here to here. This is where the pain is. This holding back line is now where you're digging into. Now, once you find out what that problem is, what's kept you stuck at X for X time, you've sold X and X, that is going to change you from hitting X. Now we want to dig that pain. If it keeps happening, could you achieve X? Or if you stayed the same, would you achieve X? What can be achieved? If you carry on doing this for X time, what will be the result? Make them understand that, look, I'm here, my goal's here. What's holding me back is in this middle line here. But guess what? I can't cross it without help. Right? And if I stay in this position here, which at the start of the conversation they thought was completely fine, they were like, look, this is fine, I'm in this situation here, that's completely, I'm happy, right? Now what you've done is you've allowed them to look at the future, you've allowed them to see what's holding them back, because all inbound setting is clarity, is making them realize, because everyone wants to get to the next level, okay? People with 6-packs want 8-packs. People with nothing want 6-packs, right? Everyone's always searching for the next thing and growing. So there's never a prospect that you can't sell. That's not a thing. Every prospect can be sold. It's just how well you can do it. Then obviously you can book a call. I've helped X people in similar situation do X, Y, and Z. Now I want to show you a live example of how this works. Right, so this is Asher, one of our clients right now, okay? On the 24th of the 2nd, 2024, we just said, hey bro, how's it going? Appreciate the engagement on my page. How's the agency running at the moment? It's fine. Just lost my appointments. They're hiring currently. You know, we knew he run an agency anyway from his page. This stuff you're going to have to learn is go on their page. Be like, okay, find stuff out about them. Okay, do they run this currently? Do they not? Do they do X, Y, and Z? We're building this over time. And again, this lead started back in February 2024. It's only just signed on. You're going to have a lot of leads that are going to, over time, you build. Okay, so appreciate the engagement. Again, we've found out where we've come from. How's the agency running at the moment? We've asked their question about their current situation. So I just lost my appointments. They're hiring another currently. What offer are you pushing right now? So we've acknowledged he's lost it. So sorry to hear that, bro. What offer are you pushing right now? Again, current situation. What are you doing? Discovery. Help online trainers get more clients, content, and appointment sets really. Awesome, yeah. So a full stack system for trainers. How's it going at the moment? Booking many calls. Now we're looking into, you know, are you booking any calls? What we're going to then build the goal off of, okay? I was currently like 1 to a week, but my appointment set fell to 0, so currently 0. Any of those leads converting. Trainers can be tough sometimes, ha ha ha. So kind of just building that personal approach. It doesn't have to be so like to the T. Any of those, yeah, it's going fine. Haven't been seeing big success. Like this guy has a lot of pain, right? I'd love to tell you it comes with time, but it doesn't. It comes with the right strategy, okay? This guy's been doing it for a while, and what you don't want to do as an appointment setter is reassure them, be like, oh, it's all going to be fine. I'd love to tell you it's going to be fine, but it's not, okay? You need the real strategy. How long ago you started now? A few months now. You know, from there, we didn't follow up. It could be like, Asher, what's good, man? Been a while. Living the dream, bro. Nice to hear. Why is that? What's good, Asher? How's things, my man? He didn't respond to that, so we followed up. How's things, my man? Business is booming. Do you have any tips for hiring content writers? Yeah, sure. What are you struggling with? So what are you struggling with right now? Writers need to be A quality. Do I need to train someone? Out of curiosity, is it a setup? Not 100%. You can find someone, bros. Don't try finding someone with zero knowledge. Giving him some value on this. Again, it can sometimes take a different approach. Hundreds of copywriters that get 10 messages a day. No, it's not. Editors, but no, I will look into copywriting. Any idea how much to pay? Last thing beginning, I brought the Pro Engine Network. When I write it, actually good systems. I'm doing 2K a month in revenue. Would you guys take me on a client, or am I too small? Really, there's tons of DMs, blah, blah, blah. Really depends how much work you give them. Also depends on your margins. Appreciate it, man. Nah, bro. We could set up a call this week. If you're down, go over your offer systems, etc. I can show you what we do at multiplyclients.io. So linking back an account is always very, very key. Yeah, we can hop on a call. I can't actually take on any clients until I get my systems. So he's already given some type of objections. Send over the calendar. So we booked in tomorrow. Talk soon, etc. So this is a lot a very, very warm lead, okay? You're not always going to have this, but this is a lead that has watched the content, has looked at us before, has really followed us, that sometimes you're going to have conversations that are this easy. Asking for a bit of advice, generally asking like, would you guys bring me on board as a client? Like, you're going to have people like this. And sometimes you just have to navigate that conversation. But it all started with this initial approach of finding out how much, do you know what I mean? Like, how's it going? Let's go. Unlucky. Might have something for you. Shooting over assets, for example. This is why we need the info. Client made 14K in one day. Send it over. Then following up. Appreciate the engagement. How's agency running, etc. To a book call. I have another one which is a lot more structured and less warm. So this is a warm example of what you're going to find a lot of the time if they've come from ads or organic content and they know the actual client. You can see here, even like, he knows us so much. He asks us like, is this a setter or is this actually me? I put obviously the setter, but no, it's me, bro. But he feels like he's generally speaking to us and has a connection with us. So organic content and ads and all of that is going to do 99% of the selling for you. But here's what to do if it's more of a cold prospect. So we just put, yo, how's it going, Sam? You running a biz at the moment? He just replied, I'm not going to play the voice notes here, but he obviously said yes, and what his offer he's running. So nice, set management is a decent offer. I need 10 systems in order to scale correctly, not have a ton of headaches. Already like planting doubt in his head. It's going to be very hard, right? We did it in the last conversation as well, I would tell it comes with time, but it comes with the right systems. Just dig in that pain, as you go on, just dig in some pain. Going well on my side, so we've obviously just asked, how's it going for you? Close to 225 clients. Again, this is why you need the information. He's asked if we ignore that question and we don't know, then it's not good, okay? You got any foundation set up or planning to start the agency a bit down the line, question mark. 100% you're right. Good to hear. Keep it up. Currently in the process of getting things started. X, Y, and Z. Appreciate, bro. Yeah, solid communications, key model, daily check-ins. What are you planning on doing for acquisition? So we've now found the offer. Obviously, like I said, our main pain points that we had on that sheet is booking calls or high-ticket offers. The last guy, what did we do? We went into high-ticket offer first, and then we went into book calls. This one, we're going straight into book calls. Once your client tells you their pain, find their pain straight away. What are you doing for acquisition? Customer client acquisition, you're going to get set as outbound. That could be an option. What are you thinking? Again, especially if you're an authority in the space, the client is, which they're going to be, they're going to ask you stuff like, what do you think? Okay. This guy doesn't really know. He's like, what do you think? Easy couple of clients you can upsell, start straight away with a few companies, but you need a long-term plan for real scalability. How much is setting/closing making you depends on the upsell. They could be decent clients. So now we're just finding more about their current situation and how much they could invest. Because we've took this, right, as what you think as, okay, wait, they're going to definitely be a client. They're asking, etc. But you need a long-term play, okay? So we're digging in pain. You need a long-term plan for real scalability. That's definitely something I need to do. Average about 4K per month. Decent, bro. What's your targets with the agency? Again, guys, you can all see this in the framework. We've now found their discovery, what they're doing, etc. We're now looking at what are the goals? What's your desired situation? If you're doing 4K a month setting, closing, aim for 20K a month. So we're even digging in pain. You should be at 20. You're at 4, you should be at 20. That's a big gap. Look, they want to be at 20, they're at 4. That's easy, right? We're making this easy, but they're still sat at 4, building that pain. You reckon we're aiming for 10 clients off at 20, definitely doable. What are your sales managers at? Yeah, if you go the right way, I've seen so many setters, closers, fright offers like this. So again, digging in pain. I've seen so many people ruin this. I've seen so many people mess this up. I've seen so many people do this, okay? Just have the correct systems, okay? We're digging in that pain. What was the part of the thing? Digging in pain. It doesn't have to go in order. You just have to follow it where it best fits, okay? So we're digging in pain. And then we're pushing for a call because it's like, you know what? They're asking questions. They're seeing if we think it's the right fit. They're asking more questions. Hop on a call, run through your game plan. And then we just answer their question again. This is why we need to know these information. That'd be perfect. What day suits you? Perfect. Booked, calendar, bang, closed. Okay? This is a bit of a colder prospect, but again, this is the coldest that you're going to get. Okay, you're going to have very warm prospects. They're going to ask you stuff because you're not going outbound, you're going inbound. Now, if you're watching this and it seems like a dream, as an appointment says, it is. Like, this is how quickly it is. And off of this, we sell a 4K offer. And he takes 7% commission. So I can't work out the maths on top of my head, but it's around $350, right? For this many messages, right? It's that simple, okay? So let me jump straight into now more of a breakdown of actually an inbound setting of how it would look. For example, you've seen some examples here, but let's do a live one with me and you. So let me run through a quick example of what something could look like. So let's say, who am I? Who do I serve? Let's say we serve, you're working for a fitness coach who helps overweight dads get into shape. Okay, they've come inbound. Let's say they've dropped us a follow. Hey, let's say his name's Dan. Appreciate the follow. You currently looking to get back in, or not into, back into. You currently have following a workout program. Now, obviously, they're paying. Obviously, if they are, then they're not a fit customer. But realistically, Dan's going to put something like, I'm going to do brackets for Dan. And he's going to say, again, like I said, these are warm prospects. They're happy to speak to you. They think they're speaking to the... And one of the best things, if you land a role that is... The prospect doesn't know what an appointment setter is, they generally think they're speaking to the person they think they're speaking to, then the game's complete. You win every single day of the week, because whereas agencies and coaches, I just showed you one there, it's like, am I speaking to the setter? People don't know what an appointment setter is. If you're speaking to an overweight dad, he has no idea what an appointment setter is. So he's going to be like, ha ha ha, at the moment, ma'am, he may say a pain here, he may not. And then obviously that's the opening. We now want to go into discovery. We want to ask him a couple questions, okay? So discovery. Why is that, ma'am? Why is that, ma'am? Something you're looking to do in the new year or something like that. He's going to put, yeah, definitely just a little busy right now. He's going to, like I said, give you an objection. He's busy right now. It's your chance to now solve the objection. So if he's busy, we want to discover more of why he's busy. We don't want to now go into desired then thingy. We want to find out more about this situation. So why is he busy? Kids or work. Ha ha ha. Or like a laughing emoji. Again, this is very playful. This is how you'd speak if you were this person. You wouldn't be like, oh, bro, blah, blah, blah. Kids or work, ha, ha, ha. Both. They're 40. They're going to use like a little lol there. Do you know what I mean? Like both lol. Okay, so we know that he has a time constraint, okay? He has it. We've discovered that. His biggest constraint is he wants to get into shape. He's not in shape. The drawback is time. We've discovered it all already. So we know where he wants to go. Obviously, we can dig a little bit further. I'd go, let's say you had the time. What sort of shape are you looking to get back into? Now, I've been into a lot of these roles and DMs and stuff. This is generally stuff they'll say. It'll be like something like, just losing the weight so I can run with my kids and my wife. Generally, I'm not going to go into like my wife will see me in the bedroom, but that's generally what they would say. Okay, losing weight so I can run around with my kids. Okay, this guy wants to lose weight, wants to chill with his kids. That is the desired situation. That's a very, very big situation that's holding them back from that. Then you could go into like weight, for example. Again, you would need to know more about the actual offer, like information, like what are their biggest pain points, what weights are they normally, what weights are we trying to get down to. So we obviously already know that their constraint is time. It's not nothing else. They work a job. They've got all this. They probably have the money. They simply just don't have the time. Okay? And especially what a good offer like this, I'd go straight to digging pain. So they can't run with his kids. It could be like, I hear that a lot, ma'am. Sad to see. Something like that. And then you could go into, if nothing is done, it never gets any better. any better, then we could objection handle with the time. It could be like, never gets any better. How many hours a day do you have to make a change? Or something like that, okay? Again, we're going back to discovery of this, but we're digging in the pain. They could be like, man, max 1 hour a day, then more on weekends. And then you could go like, then you could dig more into book a call kind of angle. So he's open for it. He wants to make a change. You've now dug in pain that it never gets any better and stuff like that. It could now be like something like we have, and this is where you need to learn the offers, etc. We have a 1 hour a day workout for people like you, for dads like yourself. This is where, again, you need that leverage sheet. Why? Because this wouldn't work otherwise. If you just say this wouldn't work. We recently helped Phil, same age as you, same area, who went from this to this, pick, and then obviously pick, with 1 hour a day. Something you would look to do the same. Okay. Yes, of course. Of course he's going to say yes to that, but cool. Okay. Here's the link. It could be like, here's the link. Find a time you're free this week and let's get you shredded, man. Okay. Something like that. Something like a excitement statement. But you can see there, what we've done is again, I didn't have all the information. This is like a very rough draft, but you can see how simple it is. Appreciate the follow. So we've opened up where we've come from. You're currently working on a workout program. You're currently following a workout program, sorry. So a discovery, just like a discovery. Hand on the moment, discovery again. Why is that, man? Are you looking to in the new year? Okay, why aren't they? Are they looking to? Yeah, definitely just a little busy right now. So we found the objection already. So we found it very, very early into the conversation. Obviously, you may find it at different stages. You may not find it at the start. He could be like, yeah. He could be very blunt. He could be like, yeah, man. I was like, what's stopping you from doing it now? That could be the other conversation that you go into. Then you would find the problem is time, okay? So any which way, you're trying to just find that objection, okay? Kids or work, being a playful, both, lol. Then desired situation, okay? What type of shape you looking to get into? Like, yes, you want to get into shape and follow a workout plan, and you're not happy with yourself, why do you want to even get into shape? Like, what type of shape and why, okay? Losing the weight so I can run with my kids. Dig pain, I hear that a lot, man. If nothing is done, it never gets any better. Digging in that pain. You've been like this for the last year now. You're not getting any better. You're not getting any slimmer. You're not losing any weight. You're not progressing. This isn't going to get better, and it's going to lead to something like, and especially this is a good one, in these type of industries, there's a lot more pain to dig. Because when you're digging in pain about children, and you're digging in pain about family, and you're digging in pain about death, because the simple answer is, if this guy doesn't, for example, let's say get in shape, the worst answer is, in the next 10 years, they're going to have a heart attack and die. That's the biggest pain that you have in the market, okay? So how many hours a day do you have to change? Max 1 hour. They've got something, okay? What you can also do, how many hours a day do you have to make a change? And then you can again be playful. Include TV, phone, wasted hours. And then they can see, I actually do have time, okay? Because everyone has time. Like, everyone has time. There's a bunch of hours in a day, right? You got something like 16 hours, 14 hours in a day, depending on how long you sleep for, whatever. There's enough time. You're fine, right? Book a call. We have 1 hour to work out for dads like yourself. We've leveraged the results. We found the pain. We've dug the pain. We found he wants to get through this. Dig the pain, result, and then obviously book a call. Okay, so that is the inbound setting template. How you're going to find the leads, how you're going to conversate with the leads, the framework, a couple of ones that we've used personally ourselves, which has worked, and then obviously a little bit of a framework from myself. Okay, so hopefully the inbound setting kind of made a lot of sense there. Outbound, I'm going to go through this very, very quickly. Okay, all you're going to be doing is follow the exact same route as this, although prospects are just going to be a lot colder because they haven't watched any of your content, but you just want to hook, open up, and then go from there. Like, oh, you're currently doing this, X, Y, and Z. So the hooks that you can use, There's 4 different types of hooks: guaranteed, result, question, personal. So for the guarantee hook, most of the time you will be given a script if you are in an outbound role, but if you're not, you can do something like this. Guarantee, I don't want to waste your time, but I can guarantee you 120 appointments. This is the guarantee hook. You're going in with the guarantee, something you're interested in. Result hook. You could have guessed it, you're going in with a result. 30 is the amount of clients I brought Sam in April. How many clients are you currently signing in a month? Okay, result. And then we're asking a question. We're always, what we're doing, question. So they can respond. You always want to leave. You could send 2, 4, 5, and especially in the inbound as well. You could send 6 messages. The 7th needs to have a question. You need to ask a question for them to reply to simply. Question hook. First name, are you currently booking 10 plus calls a day? A pain, okay? Question pain hook. Personal hook. Hey, first name, love your row of X. Any more coming out? That's more of a bait and switch method. If they respond, follow the same workflow. Very simple. That's how outbound works. Okay, I want to go over it quickly because it's not really needed. Okay, and like I said, you're going to probably get a script anyway. Now, inbound dialing and SMS. One of the most important parts of landing a role is the perception of your account. Okay, so the dialer framework here that I'm going to go into, I want to break down. So inbound dialing and SMS. Firstly, I want to go into a CRM system to show you about normally what you're going to be placed into if you are an inbound dialer or SMS. You're going to be put into some type of CRM system, or alternatively, what they're going to do is have like a Zapier that zaps all of the leads inside. It's going to have their name, their email, their phone number, their form as well, which they submitted. And what you can do if you're on something like Google Voice is you just copy and paste that phone number and call them. Follow the inbound approach, which I'm going to go through in a second, or you're going to be inside of a CRM, which I'll show you now. So this is what a high-level CRM looks like. There are a couple of things that you want to focus on. Contacts. This is going to be where the contact is. You can see I'm the only one here right now. But there's going to be a long list of contacts. You're going to have their phone number, their email, when they were created, their last activity, and their tags. All you want to do is they're going to set up a phone number for you anyway. There's no phone number found, but what will happen is you come to settings, you come to phone numbers, and you add a number. You can get a number from anywhere in the world. You don't use your own phone number, otherwise you're going to start paying tolls and fees and stuff. Just get them. It's like £1.15 a month, $1.15. They're going to have it. If you're calling from Spain, get a Spanish number. If you're not, then get a Singaporean number or wherever. I don't think there's any from there, but there's ones from US. I don't know how far it expands to. I think Australia has one. You see, and then obviously make sure that they have a phone number. Once they have the phone number, like I said, you're going to find all leads here. All you have to do is click the phone number, which you'll copy. Obviously, it will open up this as well. And then you can just click that, paste in, dial them as normal. And then what you can do as well, it doesn't say it here, but there'll be an SMS tab. You click SMS and you can SMS them as well. That's how simple it is. You can also use opportunities, for example. So once a lead comes in, you can add a pipeline, create a new pipeline. It could be just like, I don't know, leads, whatever. Stage name, it could be opt-in, okay? This could be the first stage, okay? They opt in, and then from there, I don't think I did it right, but opt in, then you can move them over, and then you can go from there. I'm not going to go into it, but you can do that. But these are the contacts, okay? This is what you're going to have to be looking at. Very simple. And the other one, like I said, is, again, very simple. You just go for like a Google Voice you use for business or personal use. It's a bit like this. You literally just press make a call, copy in the phone number which came into the CRM, and then you can SMS them as well. Dialing, getting in is very simple. All leads are created equal because there's no like comic CTA, etc. They're just numbers, okay? And then you can just obviously start dialing. Now, the reason we have normally zaps in and etc. and the reason why inbound dialers make more money genuinely is just for the reason of speed to lead, okay? And why it's so important for one is because you have to call them while they're still on the landing page. So the reason we get zapped it in and dialers have to be so alert on their role is because if we don't call them within 5 to 20 minutes, they're gone. The lead's gone. The chance of every minute we wait is a minute that the chance of closing reduces drastically, like significantly, okay? And we want to call them at least 3 times in the first hour. Soon as we get their attention, their pain is at the highest. They've opted in, they want to solve this pain, they're struggling with something. If we can get them on the phone while they're at the peak of their pain, hey, just saw you opted into this, and obviously go through the dialer framework, we're going to have the highest chance of booking them in a call and getting them closed because their pain is the highest. Like I said, the further we leave it, the less likely. If they don't answer, we can obviously then move into SMS as well. But that's what I want to say. Speed to lead is super important. So if you are going to be a dialer, I would keep that in mind. You have to be on your toes all of the time. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on a lot of money. So the dialer framework, okay, a very similar framework to the inbound framework, just on a calling kind of answer, right? So obviously these are text. So if no answer, you can leave a voice name. Hey, name is your name. Calling on behalf of name from company. They asked me to personally reach out to you to speak about the free training you opted in. Either message me back or call me back if you have 5 minutes. Thanks. Okay. Text. Hey, name is your name from company name. Ask me to reach out after you opted into free training. Mind if I ask a few questions? These can just be the SMS you can send if they don't answer, or the voice message. But this is what it is. They'll answer, ring, 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 ring. Hello, is this Thomas? Yes. Who is this? They're not going to know who you are. Okay. Yes. Who is this? Let them know who you are. So, hi Thomas. My name is Harvey, calling on behalf of Luke from multipleclients.io. He asked me to personally reach out regarding the free training you opted into 3 minutes ago. Do you have a quick second? Yes or no? Okay, no worries. Is there a better time that I can call you back? Yeah, call me back here, or no, just don't call me back. What's the reason? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Yes, cool. Okay. Yes, perfect. Just so I can help you better, can you explain to me your current situation? Again, we're going through the current situation, desired, etc. So no, if they say no, why is that? Just a few questions. I'm going to give them advice, etc. Just re-loop. If they reply, they're doing X. We can obviously dig more into this again. It's more like, okay, so right now, for example, let's say another random thing. Let's say they've opted into some type of like solar offer, right? They're looking to get solar, or like a new roof. Like there's this new central heated roof or something like that. It doesn't have to be an offer then. It could be like, oh, so you're currently looking into blah, blah, blah roof. Can I ask you current questions about your own? Cool. How much you currently paying a year in electricity bills? Like just the normal discovery that you need to know. And I'd recommend you build this out yourself beforehand off of their pain points. How much it costing you? What's the reason that you're looking for a new one? Just finding out what's the reason, why is it pain of this, this, and this. In that discovery phase, don't leave the discovery phase until you found the pain. Okay, the pain is they're paying more in bills because it isn't as good as heating, or it keeps falling off, or it's not very good quality, or it doesn't look nice and it's a status thing. Whatever it is. Would I be wrong in assuming your goal is to do X? Would I be wrong in assuming your goal is to, reduce your energy bill, or to, do this, or whatever they've said their pain is, or whatever you found out their pain is? Would you be just reaffirm it to them? Would I be wrong to assume that your goal is this? Yes. Okay. Cool. Proof. Name and the team have helped people in similar situations. So now we want to just reaffirm it. So it's like, okay, cool. Okay, so your goal is to reduce this. Okay, cool. We just recently helped Natalie reduce her billing by 80% by getting this solar, this blah 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 installed. Okay, you go, oh, okay, that's cool. Obviously, if they're in denial, you can obviously break it down, etc. Objection handle. Then you can book a call. These are very quick. Okay, these are a lot quicker than inbound DMs because you're on the phone. So it's like, okay, I'll just help this person do this. Is that something that you'd be looking to do yourself? Okay, you're leveraging someone else and getting them to their desired situations. They want to reduce it 80%. Okay, cool. So our team, okay, cool. Are you ready? Are you free tomorrow for a quick call, a 15-minute call with the team, so they can just run you through exactly how it works, what it looks like, etc. Blah blah blah, and they can run you through if it's the right fit for you. Yep, cool. Okay, cool. What time are you free? Okay, cool. I'm gonna send over a booking link, booking confirmation to your email. Can you please reaffirm your email? Type in the email, send over the book call. Okay, awesome. Just send that over to you. Can you let me know if you received that? Cool, got that. Okay, awesome. If you just want to fill it out, I'll obviously help you run through it, and we can go from there. Okay, cool. Make sure you stay on the phone while they book this call. Don't let them go do it because they just won't do it. But like, okay, cool. So obviously your name, etc. You want to tick box this, and this. Okay, awesome. Are you at this, and this, tick box, etc. Okay, cool. Schedule call. Cool. That call has just come through on our end. That is perfect. I'll see you tomorrow on that call. Okay, amazing. Speak to you soon. Okay. Then obviously if you need to objection handle a bit like the inbound DMs, you can leverage objection handle, etc. So now again, let's do some role play. Let's go through. Let's see what would work best. So again, very simple structure, very similar to the inbound. I kind of did just kind of go through it. So maybe it is a bit pointless if I go through it again. Yeah, I'll be honest, I kind of just went through that. And then obviously with the SMS, just follow the same approach as the inbound as you would with kind of messaging, because you're messaging the exact same way, just obviously with a different hook. But yeah, I kind of just went through that with the electrical, of the roofing, sorry. So yeah, that's how it works. Okay, I'm not going to do it again. There's no point. I'm just going to be typing the exact same stuff. Okay, so objection handling. Now we've obviously inbound, outbound, inbound dialing, whatever it is. We're on like 50 minutes so far, which is crazy. We still got a lot to go. So objection handling. Objection handling is a big part of becoming a certified appointment setter, because the only thing holding you back from these simple questions, these simple frameworks, and a call is objections. That's the only thing. If it was as easy as some of the ones that I've showed you today, life would be beautiful. Life would be amazing, right? But it's not, okay? So that's the only problem that we're going to find is objections. People not wanting to go forward due to different reasons. There's a bunch of different reasons. It could be the fact that they're unsure in themselves. They don't have the money. They don't have the time. They don't think it'll work. They are scared of what people will think of them. They're scared of taking the risk. They're currently doing this. Objections span to the end of the universe and back. It's just about what is the actual objection behind the objection, okay? Like, what I need to think about. Okay, what do you need to think? And I'll go for it now. So 50% comes from the skill of being able to understand the prospect's objection and find out where that fear is coming from, then talking them down from it. Because you're going to get hit with, I need to think about it. Or something along those lines. Something that is just like, stopping you from doing it, okay? But most people see this as, I need to think about it, and be like, oh, yeah, of course, go think about it. No, that's not what we want to do. That's an objection. That's with something that we call in kind of like sales is a smoke screen. People hate being honest. People hate being. It's why we have fake people. It's why people are fake in the world. Is because people don't like to just be honest. Like, I don't like you. I don't want to do this. If everyone could say that, then perfect. By saying I need to think about it, he could be saying, or she could be saying, I don't want this. This product sucks. I don't want this. This makes no sense. I don't have the money. I'm broke. That's what they're saying, but obviously you don't want to say that, okay? For sure, I just sent a lot of info to you. What exactly is it that you need to think about? Okay, just asking the question. Everything, okay? Even more objections, just everything. Let's put money aside, okay? So now we're just trying to find out, is it a money objection? Is this something you would look to move forward with? The money isn't the issue, okay? Disqualified that objection. So like I said, you're going to find your most common objections, and again, you're going to find this from your client previously, is money, time. Money and time, really, right? Money, time, or value. They either don't have the money to invest, they don't have the time to do this, or think they have the time to learn it and implement it, or they don't see the value in the actual product or the service. They're the three that we're going to find. So we're disqualifying that. Money isn't the issue. Okay, money, done. So it's either time or value, okay? So no worries. So what is it about the program that's stopping you from getting started, okay, to get to their desired outcome? Okay, so we found that it's a program issue. I don't know if I'll have the time. So it's nothing about the program. If they would have said, I don't know if it's going to get me to this guarantee, okay, we could have then leveraged the guarantee. Oh, but we guarantee this. Okay, so it's just about, so now we found out that it's a time objection. It's not an offer objection. It's not a money objection. It's a time objection. So let's now solve that objection. And the best way to solve objections is by leveraging other people. We have a lot of women like yourself, super busy, which is why we accommodate the program to people like yourself. How many hours a day do you have? Do you work with a kid? Don't just say, oh, this many hours. Understand it again. Find out further. I work with mine 5 to 9 kids every day till they sleep at 8. Okay, Jenny, we have a 3-day intensive program fit for 9 to 5 workers. It requires 3 days, which will get you to the desired results. What I would do here is leverage someone else, just like we helped Kirsty. Exact same situation as you, 4 busy kids, 5, 6, and 7, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't even know if that's possible. Like, like 5, 8, 19, 10 or whatever, right? Who was able to get into this shape, picture in picture, or was able to do this and this in just 3 hours a week, or whatever it is. Okay, is that something that would work better for you? Yes. Okay. As you can see, the objection handling is finding out if it's price, time, trust, or value, or doubt. Okay. There's trust and doubt as well in there, in yourself as a person, or whatever else it could be. I need to think about it. I'll get back to you. Could mean anything. Is for us to solve it. Now, the other 50% is purely knowledge and result, which is why we obviously have them sheets that we ask them to fill out at the top. Is I'll get back to you. Okay, Matt, what is it you think about before getting back to me? I don't know if this will work for me. What's the difference between you and result? If you have a result, you can pretty much handle any objection, because you can then just say, like, look, your objection means nothing because someone else who has the same problem as you got the desired outcome. If you can have a result for every objection, which is I recommend you try and get done for, just like if they don't, be like, okay, look, we're going to get objections, time value this, this, and this, okay? Our ICP, for example, like we were just going over with like the mums, for example, their problem is mainly going to be money or time. How can we solve this? Okay, we're going to do this and this and this. Okay, this result is what we're going to pair with this objection, and it's going to work. Okay, and then obviously sell something similar. Possible to get rid of the objection is very easy to sell. So that's objection handling, kind of like 101, 50-50 rule. Now, live training. This is a shadowing session of not myself, but my business partner, Luke Jackson, shadowing one of our setters that we placed into a role. It was an inbound DM role, which they were setting and closing in the DMs. It was a low ticket offer, but it was an offer that did around $20,000 a month and beyond. So yeah, let me just show you a little bit behind that. I think the shadowing session went on for like an hour. I'll show you like 15 minutes of it. But this is going to be super, super valuable in finding the leads, sending messages to the leads, objection handling, following up. And Luke's going to give insights to the setter, which you can also take your as well. So I'll see you after that in the next module. Right, now we've become a certified appointment setter. We know how to appointment set. We know where leads are. We know how to conversate with leads. We know how to objection handle. We know how to find the desired. We know everything, right? It's now time to get a role as an appointment setter. Obviously, over time, you'll learn more following this channel, working with us, etc. You're going to learn more about appointment setting, but going off of that, that's most of the stuff you need to know with appointment setting, okay? Step one, this free course. This is obviously step two. I'm going to show you from two angles how to get hired. Two unique angles. Having scaled my own agency to 40K a month and having to hire world-class talent and world-class appointment setters, what I personally look for as a CEO, along with me training and placing 200+ setters, what the biggest companies and people look for, okay? What we will cover: account position, location finding, guaranteed role outreach script, the easy route, and then contracted into the role. So let me jump straight into account positioning. One of the most important parts, and I would personally say probably the most important parts of landing a role, is your account positioning and back-end perception. Such as, for example, we're leveraging places such as like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, which is where we're going to be outreaching on. When they click and see your account, this is where everything happens, okay? This is where they're going to find out more about you, and that perception is key. This is what I look out for. Like I said, I've worked with the biggest coaches, the biggest agencies in the space. This is what they're looking for as well. When I send over a setter to them and place them in their business, they will not take the setter unless they have this on their account, and I'm about to show you it now, okay? If I get 20 applicants for a role before I look at their message, I look at their account, and if it is not set up in this exact way, I don't open it, meaning 15 out of 20 are excluded straight away. A myth I hear is getting lost in the request. Trust me, I've been in accounts with millions of followers. Every DM gets opened, right? I don't think you understand. Like, people and humans are desperate creatures. I don't know how to explain it, but like every DM, I promise you, and this stands for everything, okay? Millions, genuinely, million followers. They're getting hundreds of DMs every single day. They're opening out every single one. Trust me. People have an addiction to this stuff. So you're not getting lost. They just don't care about your stuff, okay? Plain and simple. And that also applies if you've ever tried to message someone, a girl or anything like that, and they haven't responded, that you did not get lost in a request, buddy. Trust me. So let me show you firstly two good accounts that I'm personally a fan of, and then I'm also going to show you two bad accounts which I'm not a fan of. So I personally don't know who these people are. I've just picked some random accounts that I know their setters. If this is you, apologies, not really. Your account isn't really optimized, okay? If you need some help, just putting your page in here. If you need some help, message me on Multiply Setters, and I'll personally just give you a full review of your account and I'll help you out. And I'm also kind of just reviewing it now. So these are the two accounts. This guy's actually started, okay, so this is a little bit newer now. But this guy here, personally, no posts, no idea who he is, no idea if he's a real person. Profile picture, got sunglasses on. He's not taking this seriously whatsoever. HTS, people don't know that's high ticket sales. They don't really know your appointment setter. Then free sales training and job post, okay, inside of here. Is the messaging's weird. You're kind of targeting setters, but you're not explaining you're a setter. No post, no profile picture. And then inside of here, the only thing that I'm a fan of is you've got a story highlight, awesome. And then this where you can't even really see what's going on. They're the two problems, okay, with this account. This account didn't have this post. It came up 4 days ago, but it didn't have this post when I started. I don't mind this. This is good. This is a good start. Post, see you're a real person. See you've got some lifestyle, high perception, perfect. High ticket sales, perfect. Super low followers. If you have to buy followers, buy followers. Where you're from, perfect. High ticket setting, perfect. And then we just need story highlights, okay? Who you are on the story highlights, a bit like the last person, along with results as well. And then tagged post as well, okay? You just, and this profile picture is super blurry and you can't see who you actually are. It's very hard to see, okay? Now 2 accounts that I actually don't mind, okay? And again, they still have their problems, but you know, they don't mind. But Catiano, we actually placed him into a role. But appointment setting, living in Michigan, perfect, okay? Bunch of pictures about him. You can see he's a good guy, plays soccer or football, whatever you like to call it. This guy's a real person. Like, I want to work with him. You can already see the whole difference in just vibe behind it. It's like, look, this guy's a real person. He's not afraid to show himself. I can look at what he does. He has good engagement. He has a good amount of followers. He's known by people. He's followed by people. He's just a popular guy. Like, people want to work with people that are people. If you've got 5 followers with no likes, no connections, no posts, don't know who you are. The only thing which I would use, which I don't know why he hasn't used, these are cool. I would add more of these, but also just a results highlight. Get more results. Along with this, and I'll go into this, a couple things. Tag post. Again, it shows people are sharing him. People know who he is, etc., etc., etc. This is awesome. Teddy, this is probably one of my favorite accounts. Very clear pictures. Again, lots of likes, popular person, known person as well, and you can see exactly who he is. Okay, you can see he's an actual real person. Along with this, he's a setter. The only thing I would have liked to add this is a bit more about him, not about him, but like where is he from potentially, appointment setter, etc. Good amount of followers, good amount of following as well. 2 posts. He's also got results. He's only got 2, which is cool, but that's great. He's got one with his girlfriend. I'm not going to show that, but he's got one with his girlfriend. I'd probably have one of himself as well. Then he's also got tag posts. He's got tag posts to show that he's a real person. And then he's also got tag posts with, I assume, his girlfriend again. Okay. So he's also followed by people within the space. So he's known by like certain people, which is great. Bigger people within the space as well. Okay. So especially mutuals is massive. So that's an account that I personally very much like. But an ideal setter account, I want to go into here because obviously I believe that, I think his name's Teddy's, is the best account that I've seen so far. Yeah, Teddy. Okay. He's got the best account I've seen so far, but there's still definitely some stuff which I think would help him a lot. Okay. All stuff that he's done well. I'm going to tick stuff he's done well, stuff that I'd change. Clear profile picture. You can see his face and he's a real person. Amazing. Have one story picture of your life. He kind of has this. I'm going to put a question mark. Kind of has another with results. Okay. Clear pictures of yourself. Cool. The only kind of critique I'd maybe has is it makes him seem a little young the way that he's posing and stuff, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna lie. Mutuals are by far one of the most important aspects. If you're known, again, if you're known and have followers and you're a known person, popular person, people want to work with you, make it clear what you do. If you can, add an authority statement, such as like booked X calls, generated X in sales, and especially have where you live. So there's 2 lines I'd probably have, and probably put appointment before the setter. Popularity being known in the space. But apart from that, and adding maybe one more story highlight of himself, and then maybe adding 2 lines to his bio, he pretty much has a 10 out of 10 account. Okay, I'd right now give it like a 9 out of 10. But if he messaged me, I would respond. Okay, now speaking from someone that hires setters, I would respond to this account. But I wouldn't respond to pretty much most of the others that I've already showed you. Okay. Along with this, only real improvement, blue tick if you can. I think you've got to be 18 plus, which is the only kind of issue and constraint. But blue tick helps you stand out, shows that you're a real verified person and that you're not a scam fake account. Very, very good. Okay. I will be personally reviewing some of your accounts. So if you just go to Multiply Setters, again, link in description or on Instagram, DM me, rate, and I'll review your account. I'll send you over a voice message. You'll be like, hey, change this, change this. I'm going to do this for like the first 10, 20 people that DM me. So make sure that you get to it as soon as possible. I'll obviously respond and help you guys out. Okay. Now, this does not just apply for Instagram, but all platforms apply the exact same way. The only addition is having a banner is realistically the only change that's going to be there. if you're on Facebook, X, they all still have bios, they all still have profile pictures, they all still have story highlights, they all still have these, followers, etc. The only thing that changes is a banner. I'd use your company logo if you have one. If you don't, just a high perception background. Literally a picture of New York or something. I don't know. Just literally open up your phone, go to like photos. Let me pick one. What's a cool picture? Cool. Find picture here. This is a cool picture. That is now your banner. I don't know if it goes that way. It don't go that way. But that's your banner. Simple as. Okay, cool. Location finding. We also need to now look at the best place to find job roles. So, a couple of ways to look for roles. I want to go through a couple of my favorites, a couple of best ways to do it. Firstly, just go. You can either go into appointment setting groups, and you can look for roles. Or what you can do is you can go into... So, okay, let me kind of break this down. So, you have two options in appointments setting roles, right? Or groups, okay? You're either going to find the members in there looking for appointment setters, or they're going to be able to partner you up. For example, like our own community, Multiply Setters, we partner you up guaranteed. So it's like you will be partnered anyway, so you get to kind of skip this whole thing. But there's a bunch of different ones on school that you could go to as well. Or just go to any type of coaching program that would need them, or anything, right? It could be, let's find something. AI automation. These guys are all going to need setters. Let's go into, especially coaches. Coaches works really well. They're all going to need setters. Expert coach. These guys are all going to need setters. Training academy. These guys are all going to need setters. These guys are 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 going to need setters. All these guys are going to need setters. So what you can do is you could join a community that, let's say, needs appointment setters. So it could be like fitness coach. Something like this, right? Fitness mama, right? We could go inside of here. Maybe, to be fair, this probably isn't the best example, right? Fitness mama is not doing it. But you could find one, right? They more need to be coaches than anything, like helping coaches, if that kind of makes sense. Not just, obviously, like Adonis Gang, for example. A lot of these guys inside of here build personal brands. You can join the group. Once you join the group, you're going to have access to be able to see all of the members. You can just then start DMing them from there. Go with the outbound approach, and this way you can start using, I'm going to show you approaches. But school is one of a good way. You're going to find a lot of communities. You're going to find a lot of people. Great way. Another great way you can use it is from Instagram, going from people's pages. So I don't know why I came off of that. So, for example, Bastian Slot, right? Massive guy that helps coaches within the space. He's going to have a lot of coaches following him, okay? So if you go through his followers, you can go through his comments, you can go through his likes, etc., and just find people that would be open to this type of job offer, okay? Again, you can go and find different people within the space that would need roles that you can then go and leverage, okay? Other big people, for example, like Jeremy Pogue, I know would be one. You can go through all of these type of followers that he has and all of these likes, although most of these guys aren't doing too well at the moment on the likes. And you could just go through and be like, okay, this been liked by this person. Let me try and find Steve Buss. Nope. Mr. Christopher. He looks like he's starting out. If you're a coach, real estate portfolio, build confidence and gain time. Okay, cool. Drop him a message. Okay, and this is where we can obviously start landing our roles. So Instagram's another great way to obviously find them, especially if they have like roles, etc. Third best is going to be on Facebook. Just type up like appointment setters. And you'll see stuff like phone appointment setter, location remote, compensation $4,000 base, 7% OTE. The only problem is these are going to be a lot harder to get into because there's going to be... This is like the most oversaturated method while getting into some of the worst roles, if that kind of makes sense. Like these guys don't always have the best roles. Like this isn't bad. Like hiring 2 closers, 4 setters, $650K, 5 to 7K per UK, US. Any referrals, 1K. But you can see... Facebook, you can get messed around a lot, etc., etc. So I would recommend using this, but it's not always going to be the best option in the world. Finally, Upwork. You can use Upwork. Wouldn't really recommend it unless you're someone that is an outbound setter from the Philippines, India, or somewhere like this. That's going to be a great way to get your kind of first job role and start building, results, rapport, etc., and then scaling your way from there. So there are the best locations in kind of order, in my personal opinion, on where to kind of get hired and where to be looking for job roles once you're ready for them. Okay. Now, guaranteed role outreach script. Once we find these, prospects that we want to start working with, potential clients, etc., we want to start outreaching them to them. Okay. Now we have a dialed in profile. We now need to capture their attention and convert them into booked calls. Like I said, these guys all look at the requests. We now need to our account is perfect. We now need to just make sure that the message that we send over is perfect as well. Okay. So now I've seen so many people get this wrong. So let's first look at some cooked outreach methods. Hey bro, Luke Miller sent me here. I'm a hungry, consistent, coachable, and hardworking individual that knows as a psychologist how to sell and motivate people at the same time, which means more and better clients. If you're serious about growing the business of your clients, then we can definitely plan in an interview, and I'll show you what I can do. Too direct, pushing for an interview without really knowing anything about him. Does he have previous experience? Does he do X, Y, and Z? Enough value or insight. What I will say that he's done very, very well in this message is listed characteristics which we're looking for. Hungry, consistent, coachable as a psychology student. Perfect. Move that to the side. We now need to frame it in a way that isn't pitching for an interview, because as a busy business owner, I hate hopping on calls. I try and optimize my life to hop on as least calls as possible. Most business owners do, because calls are going to be the things that hold you back from one, personal free time, two, doing stuff, okay? So I always aim to not get on interviews. So we want to push for something else. And we also need a bit more details. It could be like, hey bro, look at me here. I'm a hungry consistent from the US. Previously worked on previous 2 years experience. Or you could even say, I have no experience, but I have this, and this. Okay, but I would prefer, obviously, previously worked in this role. Obviously, blah, blah, blah. Not if you're serious about growing your business. It's like, I am obviously serious. That's kind of like an insult towards a business owner. Looking at it as like, if you're serious, I am serious. What do you mean? Like, you're now kind of digging at the business owner, which they don't like and they don't want to see, as they have an ego. You're going to find them with the biggest egos possible. As soon as you start digging at them, they're going to close off. They're not going to speak to you. So it could be something like, so obviously I've got 2 years experience. I think I'd be a great fit for your appointment setting team. And then from there, we can move into something like, is it cool if I send over a 1 minute video going more over about myself? Or it could be like, is there any room right now in your team? ? Okay, we don't want to pitch for that interview straight away, because I have no idea who you are. I don't know what you do. I don't know anything about you. Let me ask some more questions first. So we want to open it up to, instead of, I'll interview, I'll show you what I can do. It's not even a question like, are you free for an interview? ? This is an open-ended statement. Okay, how am I going to respond to this? We want an actual question of like, is there anything else you'd like to know? Is there space on your team? Blah, X, Y, and Z. Are you currently hiring? This one is completely cooked. Hey, Luke, open to chat about appointment setting. Hey, Luke, open to chat. What about appointment setting? No clear goal. No idea who they are. No idea what they do. No idea if they have previous experience. No idea if they're here to waste my time. Nothing about them. Okay, there's no information in that first message. Leave them. Get them gone. Don't want to speak to them. Okay. So a couple of approaches. There's 2 outreach methods that are superior and will land you a dream client. Firstly, we have the direct loom approach. Now, I'd recommend this if a prospect puts out a story, or if they've put out a job post on, let's say, Facebook, and they're looking for this, because it's going to take you some time to do. For example, this is a loom that we got sent. Let me just copy it. Right, one sec. So I'm going to play a bit of this video now. It's just a bit like why you should hire. I wouldn't do this at the start. I would rather put more about me, more about my name as an appointment setter, not why you should hire me. And then he did a very good job of info about me. I'm this years old. I'm seeking an appointment setting position. I'm in this time zone. I would have added a bit more about my previous experience, but I think he does go on to this. Current experience, appointment setting at sales at Toyota, 50 meetings monthly, phone and email leads. Previous experience, appointment setting for mortgage brokers, cold calling leads, generated millions in loans, invested into high ticket programs. This is very, very good. If you've invested into stuff, you have a much higher rate of succeeding, because he's very serious about himself. People that don't invest aren't serious about themselves. They're less likely to get the role. Coaches have generated over millions, invested 4 figures into myself. Okay. Strengths, adaptability, competitive, continuous improvement, consistency. This is all stuff that you want. Location, why he does it. What's the reason you're even doing this? Location, freedom, love the work, natural progression. all stuff that you want to look out for. So this is very good. Personally, I don't like how the presentation looks. I think the perception's quite low, but you get the idea. I like how it's framed, and I like how he's pushed his strengths, his weaknesses, his previous experiences, his current experiences, why he does it, and everything like that, which I think is great. We can see as well, he's done this perfectly. So he's replied to a story. I'm from Aussie, have experience, I can send over a Loom. What's good, bro? Crypto knowledge, just a few questions, cool. Hopped on a call when he got the role. That he, out of, I think we got over 50 applicants for this role, he got the role. Why? Because he sent over a Loom video, okay? And I saw that he'd invested in himself, saw he knew what he was doing, and everything like that. So personally, direct Loom approach is one of my favorites. Another one could be like a direct result approach. If you have results, it could be like first name, I'm a setter that generated person X result in X time without them doing Y. I don't want to waste your time on a call. If a quick fit, if it's a good fit, 2-minute video, breaking it down myself. So again, we're trying to push over a Loom, but we're asking for permission first to go and do that. And then if reply X. Now, another one that I actually haven't put here, which I would have liked to put, is more of like a Loom message approach. Okay. And I'm going to just add it in now. Loom message approach. Now, with the Loom message approach, how it kind of works is you're kind of breaking down the Loom in words. It could be like, hey, first name, her face name, I'm a setter from the UK, looking for a role. I have X previous experience, been setting for this long, recently invested into this sales program. Do you have space on your team for another hungry appointment, sir? Okay, you're kind of just condensing the Loom into a message. I like this. This is great. Cool. I just wanted to add this quickly. Bait and switch. Then finally you have the bait and switch where you converse with them into more of like a conversation. It could be like, loved your reel with X. Any more coming? How's it going, man? Can I ask a quick question? Just in the goal. Just the goal is to get your foot in the door, okay? Loved your reel with X. Any more coming? How's it going, man? Can I ask a quick question? Just really getting that down, getting that, understanding. All of that, okay? And then from there, you can more go again with like an inbound conversational approach. It could be like, so, do you currently have any setters on your team? No. How much you currently... No, you probably wouldn't ask how much you're currently doing, but you can then go along with those lines like, oh, you're looking for an appointment setter. I didn't get a message from your team when I followed you. Do you have any appointment setters? No, I don't. I think it'd be great. Let's do a 7-day test trial, or let's do this, or let's do this. Like, you can start then conversating with them to get in. Now, the easy route, a lot of you sometimes are here just for the easy route. I know I'm going to hold my hand up. I'm here for the easiest routes of all times. I will say I've taken some of the easiest routes of all time. I invested like $9,000 into a program when I started. That gave me everything I needed to know. I've done, do you know what I mean? Like I've always tried to take the easiest route possible because I hate doing a bunch of work and stuff when I could just skip my way to the front. So sometimes it's okay to take shortcuts and the easy route. It's what most of our students have done. We placed Katie owner for Jason Cooperson, cash collected 18,400. Smith Reese. We placed Andrew, who's making now 10 to 12K a month. Ricky was placed in, set into Julian Corzo. You can check out our Instagram. We only just started it and we're only just putting in our client results now and testimonials, but you can just see a couple of results here. Ricky, Kationa, Elias, Andrew, you can see Nathan there as well. And we're obviously just posting these every single day, just really building up this account as we have a bunch to go and up. But yeah, getting a dream role is not hard without connections. Getting a dream role is hard without connections as you're alone competing against everyone. I don't know how many views this video is going to get, how many views I'm going to accumulate on this channel, but you're all competing against each other. Why not just skip that process and skip the queue? The students you see here working with us directly, there's a link down below to check out Multiply Setters. Now, there's no need to go and enroll or do anything like that. I'm just saying it's a guaranteed placement. We give you further training past this. Hours, I think it's like 20 plus hours worth of content of training, weekly calls with our personal setter to Q&A, help you, and a guaranteed placement. Like, you're guaranteed to get a role, okay? So you can check that out. If not, no worries. The free course is still going to help you become a killer. But just letting you know, obviously we've done a lot of this. And you can see this is our first video that we've ever posted. This is a newer offer that we're pushing. We did a test trial with obviously all our clients and they all all shredded it. It was amazing. We've been doing this for a while now. This is the only time we've started to really push it, marketing, like organic content, etc. Like I said, it's my first video you're ever going to see on the channel, a lot more to come, but we've done this previously for like 10, 20 setters now, and a lot more. But 10, 20 that we obviously have here that we can show you. Okay. Contracting the role. Now, contracting the role is crucial, especially if they're not a massive brand or company, due to the risk of getting scammed. A lot of people I know, especially agencies, scam you. I will be honest. A lot of big, small agencies scam you because they just don't have the money. So when you join, make sure to get a contract. If they don't have one, you can use one that we have at Multiply Setters. Now, this is the one that we give to everyone inside of Multiply Setters. I unfortunately can't give you this, but you can have a look at it. Okay. The following agreement between name and name, statement of what you're going to be delivering, your base plus comms, privacy and confidentiality, terms of payment, acceptance. Just so you know you're going to get paid, just so everyone knows what your job role is, just so you know what you're getting paid, terms of service, everything like that. Okay, so that is pretty much, I think, everything to do with getting a job role. You can either, like I said, you can either firstly optimize your account, secondly find a perfect place, thirdly outreach. But if you want to just skip all the outreach, the accounts, all of that, just Multiply Setters link down below, and then obviously contract yourself into that role as well. Finally, what I'm going to be going over, I know this has been a bit of a long one so far. This is nothing, by the way, like on my main channel for like helping agencies and coaches, it's just a bit of a waffle. But I made I think it's 12 hours. I made a 12-hour course. This is going to be like 1 hour 45, maybe 1 hour 30. So I made a 10. So my mouth started to hurt, but I'm going to finish it off now. I'm going to jump straight into the daily reports, the KPIs, the tracking. So once you're in the role, what that looks like, how you're going to perform the best, and from there. So I'm going to take a little bit of a break, but I'll see you guys in about 5. Welcome to Multiply Setters, tracking KPIs and obviously tracking data, sending data reports, everything else we would need to do within kind of the tracking sector, right? We've now obviously landing our role. We've learned how to become an appointment setter. It's key that we now collect the data, send the data, and know stuff is actually working. You know, if we can't know if something's working or not, we're never going to be able to grow. We're never going to be able to change. So there's 3 main reasons. Very clearly states what commission that you're owed if you book a call, if you close a call. It makes everyone's life a little bit easier to work out your commission and work out how much you should be making. Allows you to see exact conversions to know whether you should change your script, to know sometimes even whether the client is a good client to be working with. If no one is trusting them and their conversion rate's really low and the open rate's really low, maybe they've got a fake audience, or maybe their audience isn't as tight as they genuinely believe they are. And then it allows you not to get fired because you kind of need to do it as a role. Okay, so we've got data tracking sheets, money list, daily reports, and hitting daily KPIs. Okay, so we have data tracking sheets. These are going to be your bread and butter. This is what you're going to need. This is what you're going to be tracking. Every single lead that you send or dial or whatever you do, they're going to be tracked in some type of data tracking sheet. Okay, now sometimes I see businesses doing like 500k a month and they don't have one of these. So I always recommend bringing your own. Like, one of my biggest advices in general on doing anything with anyone, I said this obviously with the business breakdown, is just bring your own stuff. Like, it's the best thing that you can do is just come fully handed. Look, this is my data sheet. This is my sheets that I need you to fill out. Like, the more handed you can come with stuff and tools, the better it's going to make your life, and the better it's going to make their life. You know, you may get into situations, for example, let's say you came on board with us, you wouldn't need that, okay? Like, we would build that for you, blah, 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 and we do that for our company, but I know a lot of people that don't, okay? So how this data sheet basically works is there'll be different ones for different things that you do, okay? So inbound call to action, inbound follow-up, inbound DM, inbound like, inbound story. So obviously if it's a call to action, if it's a follower or someone like that, obviously it will change. We could copy this exact data tracking sheet, and instead of location and Instagram URL, we could do phone number, and we could do, you know, the form they filmed out, whether it was ad or organic or something like that, okay? And then obviously we can put their phone number. The only reason we do this is so we can follow up with them. We know who's interested. We know who isn't, etc. And we can go from there. So basically all you're doing, once you message them, put their URL in here, put their CTA, then obviously put whether you've messaged them. Obviously the date will change up here, message, followed, etc. And you can go down and follow that. Now, any lead, our goal is to kind of either disqualify the leads that are here and get rid of them. And you can see all of these here, like, there's a decent amount, but we're just tracking every single one. just making sure we know where they are, who they are, etc., etc. Now, I'm going to go onto it in this stage because it's just easier to do it. But what we do is anyone that isn't a good fit, we just not a good fit. YouTube asset sent, like it'll just be different parts, like good a fit, not ready right now. If they seem warm and they're ready, not ready to get going, but they're a very, very warm lead, what we suggest you doing is have something like a warm growth tracking sheet. Now, this is the sheet that you want to focus on the most out of anything. And it's basically anyone that has come, inbound call to action, a note, for example, literally just starting, seems a bit lost, getting started, super warm to YouTube and brand. Guy super warm and wants to join, watches YouTube with a budget, works in coaching, struggling with acquisition, works with a run out, wants to scale. Decently, not making a huge amount, making 300, 500 per month. Good budget, looking to scout, may not book now, but we'll look in the future to forward process. So like, this is our setter having notes on the prospects. They're warm, but they're not ready right now. So what is he going to do? Is he going to put their IG, put their notes, and then just continuously message them? You can see the amount of quantity from here, like he'd message, he'd follow up, etc. But there's not too much going on because they're not that interested. It's very hard to sell someone who just doesn't care or isn't in that buying window. But these guys, YouTube asset, not ready, YouTube asset, message, YouTube asset. And what you will start seeing is YouTube asset sent, call booked, YouTube asset sent, call booked. And he's really following up on all of these guys as much as possible because there's no point wasting time, right? You can send, let's say as your KPI, you're sending 500, let's say you're sending 100 inbound messages every day. Out of them 100, let's say 10 are warm leads. You're now better off sending to the 100, seeing if any are warm, seeing any if they're not, but then just with these 10, messaging them as much as possible, finding out, like this guy, for example, he booked, right? Guy super cool, has a budget and is in a lot of pain struggling with acquisition, okay? So that guy's a perfect lead. Because they're struggling, working a job, makes 2K per month, doing all outreach himself. So this guy's in a pain that he wants to automate outreach. This guy, there's no notes on him right now. This guy, extremely warm to MC, looking for systems, acquisition, and help. We can start seeing that there's calls being booked through this, and it's a system that we're using, and it's something that you can just hammer in as much as possible. Like, look, these guys are going to make me my money. I call it personally a money list because I just see it as this is just pure cash. Anyone that is warm, like he said there, they're nurtured to us, they're nurtured to the brand, they're in a lot of pain. It's just a little bit getting over the edge, but it's more beneficial focusing on this. So this is what I call a money list. And then this is just your overall tracking sheet to make sure you know where every lead is and to also make sure you've messaged them, followed up. If they're not interested, you can just put not a good fit or not interested. If they are, you can obviously move them over to the warm growth tracking sheet. So as you can see here, I've already put the money list. It's going to be same data. Like I said, it's the same data tracking sheet. This way we can follow up, provide assets, and keep them in their pain state before they enter the buying window. Again, I'm not going to show you, but yeah, so that's the money list and that's the data tracking sheet. Now with the daily reporting is key for the company you're working with to show them exactly how your day went, to show them what you've done. As a CEO, it's just nice to be like, okay, they've dialed this, they've done this, because if, for example, you've dialed 2 that day, it's like, oh, what's this guy doing? But now a lot of people do it like this. They've dialed this, they've booked this many calls, there's no answers. Now this may seem like a normal daily report, but this is disgusting. As soon as someone sees this, they already think low-level setter, and they don't really, most of the time, they won't really want to work with you that much further. But this daily report actually helps no one. We need something better like this. So it could be like end of day. So I had conversations 34. I booked 4 calls, sent 2 more links. Appointment sets. I need information about them appointments. He had a call, had 55K portfolio, 10K, basic crypting, X, Y, and Z. You can see here, 73 message, 14 replies. No calls booked, but the warm leads have now had a note on them. There's 2 warm leads or whatever it is. One guy is super interested, make 3K, told me in the offer. He said he's going to 100% join in a couple of weeks, just needs to sort some finances. Super qualified, making 4K a month, was working in a marketing agency who guaranteed 10 clients per month. He said if I can match that guarantee, he will pay you 10K per month for a retainer tomorrow. Not sure if it's serious or exaggerated, but you can see here how much more in depth it is. The reason we do this is not only for us to then go back to these warm leads, etc., but also for the sales team to know exactly how to close the leads because they know them in depth, and then you're obviously going to get the commission because they've now gone and closed the leads. But it also shows to whoever you're working for that you're dialed in. You know, if you're showing the coaching business or whatever agency or whoever you're working for, that you're super, super dialed in. And then finally, just hitting KPIs. I would suggest following these: quantity, speed to lead. Speed to lead if you're obviously dialing, reply rate, book call rate, show rate, close rate. Every company is going to be different on the targets and metrics that they're going for, but these are the main ones to track. The data tracking sheet I just showed you will do that automatically. You will just have to find out if they closed and then obviously work out the percents from there. But yeah, this is kind of the main KPIs that you want to be tracking. So tracking KPIs is kind of a shorter module compared to the others, because all you're really doing is just tracking, sending data reports, and that's about it, tracking your KPIs. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the full free course at multiplysetters.io. You're going to see a lot more on this channel from myself, just covering more setting content, more closing content, just sales in general. So if you have any questions, if you're, again, you're an appointment setter, you're a closer, or someone just completely random looking to get into this space, comment down below any questions you have that you want me to cover in future videos. Obviously, you can drop our Instagram a follow and DM. I know I went through some stuff, like DM us the words, and obviously I can get back to you on there. And then finally, obviously, if you are a setter that's looking to get a guaranteed role from 2 to 8K, guaranteed guaranteed or a refund, you're going to get one, along with training, etc. Guaranteed role. You can click the top link at Multiply Setters. Then hopefully I'll see you inside of there. But apart from that, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll speak to you guys very soon, and peace. So what is high ticket sales? Okay, I want to jump into what it actually is, why it's the best fit for you. So the rest of the video is more of just a focused learning. There's not something in the back of your mind saying, oh, this maybe isn't for me. You know wholeheartedly this is the best vehicle to take you to your goals, whether that's 10K a month, whether it's financial freedom, whether it's location freedom. This is what's going to get you there. So what is high ticket sales? Now, you've probably seen before the thousands of people online selling high ticket. This could be gym influencers selling online coaches, editors selling how to edit, agencies selling services to people, Facebook ads, SEO, dropshipping, selling people how to dropship, SaaS selling higher level packages. The amount of sales reps and high ticket closures you've probably come across in your life is massive. When you go to a car dealership, that's a high ticket closer in a very unleveraged way. Okay, if you think of a car, a car salesman, think of that as the lowest tier of salesman, and then think of like these online service providers, SaaS, agencies, etc. is up, because you can be location freedom. You don't have to clock into work. It's remote. You can do it anywhere in the world. Okay. The list for people selling things online is infinite. Everyone sells something. Bring up your favorite influencer. I guarantee in the link in the bio, there's a way to book a call and buy something from them, which is where we can come into play. Okay. Well, to sell these free 50K packages, most people need to speak to a person on the call first. You're never going to be able to get to a point where you're just selling this nonchalantly. It's like, okay, just buy this, because people want to speak to someone, people want to get more information, and normally people have objections that they want to give to that, high ticket closer that you can solve and then obviously sell them. These companies can book anywhere from 2 to 10 calls a day and maybe even more, and the objective is to make sure they show to the call, get on the call, show them the offer, handle the objections, sell, take commission, which makes it tick all the boxes from when I'm looking at a vehicle to go into, work in, for example. So can it be done from anywhere? Yes. All you need is a laptop and you can hop on calls. As simple as that. We were with Catherine, we met up with her in Marbella, and she literally just pulled out a laptop, hopped on, came back in the living room, was carry on talking. Oh, she had another call, went back in there, then went down to Port Banu. Like, there's so much you can do, because you can do it from anywhere with just a laptop. Always in demand. Everyone, like I said, is a $1 billion industry that is continuously growing and growing and growing. One of the fastest growing industries out there right now. So there's always going to be something to sell, which means it's always going to be in demand. Okay, I've worked with over 200 plus agencies and coaches. This is their biggest constraint. They can't find high ticket closers. They cannot find them to save their lives, but everyone needs them. Commissions, you can really grow your wage. So the better you get, the more money you can get. 1 month you could make 4K, the next you can make 10, the next you can make 20. I know some closers making 30 to 50K a month because they've just gotten so good. High tickets, you're selling high tickets, that means your commission's good. Let's say you get on an offer that sells a 10K package, you're going to be making $1,000 because it's on average 10% commission, $1,000 every single time you close, okay? So let's say you do one close a day, you're going to be making $30,000 every single month. One skill needed, you don't have to, build a bunch of skills, this, and this, just one skill of selling and you're done. No teams to manage, no inventory like drop shipping, 100% margins, the best, leanest way to scale, simple to learn and easy to start, which I'm going to teach you by the end of this video. So that is high ticket sales in a nutshell. Very simply, you get a service, you hop on the call for them, you sell it, you get a commission. That's literally it. Okay, so if it's for you, amazing. Carry on obviously watching this video. I'm now going to go into more nitty gritty of this is what you need for the pre-call checklist. This is what you need for closing the call. This is what you need for tracking. And then obviously getting you that role guaranteed at the end of this video. If it's not, that's completely fine. I wish you the best of luck in whatever you choose. Okay. So the multiply sales pre-call checklist. This is what you're going to do before your calls to make sure that they show to the call, you're ready, they're ready, and you're able to close very, very simply. Obviously, this ties in from at the end of the video once we get you a role, but this is very, very important to learn to make sure that they actually show up. So what will we cover? Investigating the leads, following up attendance, and pre-call checklist. So let me jump straight into it. So investigating the leads. Before the call, we want to investigate the leads we will be hopping on a call with for the day. This is way we can prepare, especially at the start. When you're very new to this, you want, and this applies still when you're very far ahead, but when you're very new to this, hopping on your first couple calls will be very, very nerve-wracking, okay? You will be a little bit like, I'm not too sure, I'm a bit nervous. So getting as much information on them as possible is exactly like when you go into, let's say, a maths test at school. The more you prepare for it, the more comfortable you feel going to it. You open it, 2 plus 2, I've revised that, I know that's 4, right? Whereas if you haven't, you may be struggling, right? But you get my point. The more you're prepared for something, the more comfortable you're going to feel, the easier it's going to be, and the higher likelihood that it's going to close. So especially at the beginning, this pre-call phase I'm going to be going through now is going to be a billion times more important to make sure that you close than even just hopping on the call, okay? So you want to find out and just discover their pains and everything else before the call, okay? This would put you coming into a call as an upper hand because the main reason you'll be a lot calmer knowing you're about to speak to, you know exactly who they are, what they do, etc. But more armed of what to say, dig into their pains, etc. Is why we always ask clients for their Instagram so we can do a deep dive into this. Your clients may not do this, but you could request other areas such as websites, LinkedIn. More than likely, 100% of the time, they will... the client that you work with in the Calendly, they will have a question that says, what is your LinkedIn? What's your Instagram? What's your website? So we can just do a background check. Pretty much every single person that you work with will have this. So what you can then do is, let's say there's an Instagram, and I'll show you now. So you can see this is one of our closers calendars. You can see here we always ask for the Instagram handles. You can see Gabe Webster here, and you can open it up and you can say that this is a perfect lead. Okay, it's a coach, is exactly who we go after. And then what you can do here is you can be like, okay, this is what even just knowing what he looks like, how he talks, what he goes on about, so he's obviously a coach, he's a personal training coach. You can see he's got some testimonials, one testimonial, one client result, and you can just start learning more about. You can go maybe his tag post. Does he know anyone? Where does he live? You can clearly see that he's American here. Whereabouts? I'm not too sure. For example, if you know, I've forgotten his name. I actually forgot his name. If you know, it's something, I swear it's something Eubank. This guy, if you know this guy's name, for example, I know he's like a celebrity or like a fitness influencer. You could be like, okay, you could talk about that. That could be your opening kind of like connection phase, right? So yeah, just going through these prospects, just making sure you know more about them. You can clearly see one of his biggest problems is probably getting clients, as he only has one testimony and one client result. So we can dig into that a lot, and also the consistency and growth that he's having. Only got 2 reels, etc. Last time he posted was 3rd of Jan, so that could be another pain point that you dig into. So not many client results. no link to anything, so I assume there's no funnel or anything. And also there is only 2 reels, so again, not really too much going on there. So that could be what you dig into, but now you know more about what to go into, more about what to say, etc. And you're a lot more comfortable once you go through this. And again, this could be the same for a website, this could be for their LinkedIn. It just really helps you understand more about that prospect, what to say, what to do, and yeah, how to go from there. Next, we want to go up, what we also can do is follow up with them in the stage. This can be through calling them, SMSing, email them, etc. And I'm about to go on to more of that there. So I mentioned it at the end, investigating the leads, but we want to make sure that they show up. As a closer, it's not always our job. Sometimes they'll have a triage caller or the setter will do it. So I'm going to highlight that. They may have the setter follow up or they may have the triage. When you get into a role, ask this question. Do you have a triage caller or does the setter confirm attendance? If they do not, do it yourself because you need to make sure that these leads are showing. And we have a system going on right now that literally has 100%, show rate to the call because it's just so OP. Okay, we'll follow up, but I always think it's best to confirm the meeting by following these steps. When the meeting is booked, make a group chat with you and them in it on WhatsApp, greeting them to reconfirm the call. So you can see here, I wanted to show you a quick example. So I wanted to show you full screen, but it cuts it out. You can see here that every single time that, I don't know why it cuts at the bottom. But you can see here, every single time that we book in a call, we create a WhatsApp chat. Does that make it easier to see? So we create a WhatsApp chat. Now in this WhatsApp chat, we have a couple people. We have me, we have Luke, my business partner. So the 2 owners are there, but we don't say anything. The only reason we're there is to build, it's something cool, it's something that builds that, they have a responsibility or they're letting down more people if they don't show and they look a little bit silly. So that's why we do that. Then we also have the setter that booked them in. So the setter that booked them in, and then also we have Jack, our closer as well. So, and then obviously the client. Now, what we say in this one here, in the top message, the big one, it's something like, hey, first name, this is Nathan, our senior growth consultant, Jack with multiplyclients.io team. You've scheduled a call with Jack so obviously the closer. He'll be diving in how we can do X. Plus, if you're having trouble finding the Google Meet, can you let us know? What this also does is, we just say, can you confirm that's all good? So for example, Asad here, he said, can we schedule earlier? And then Jack was like, yeah, no problem. I have 4:30, 4 p.m. Okay, thanks, cool. And then obviously the conversation. So you can start having a conversation. Now, if you look at you can see all of these MC notifications here. These are all going to be ones that are book calls. So that is literally my whole WhatsApp. It's just literally these, right? So yeah, this is what we do. That's what we do to guarantee that they actually show up to the call. I'd recommend you do the exact same thing. Add them to a WhatsApp group, add them to an SMS group, just add them to a group, okay? It really just puts that, pressure on them, 1, to show up, 2, to reply. And if they don't, then you can probably say, oh, they're probably not going to show up, right? So yeah, and then the second one, the day of the call, message the chat reconfirming the call, and seeing if it still works for them, if they're attending. So on the morning as well, we'll say, hey, our call scheduled this time today. Is that still all good for you? Yes, that is perfect. This will not only remind them to show to the call, but it will also give them direct contact that they would be letting you down by not showing, so putting pressure on them to do that, okay? It also allows you to clear your calendar of any no-shows of that day. What I would recommend as well is if, and a lot of people, don't do this, if they haven't shown, so they've said yes, they've replied. So if they haven't replied, you can try call them. If they don't answer, then you can either cancel the call because they're not going to show, because they're not showing any interest to actually go and show. Or you can wait for the call and you can check it, but I'd recommend you cancel it. But if they've said yes and they've messaged you and stuff like that, what you now have as well is just their phone number to just call them and be like, hey, our call's right now. Are you still all free for that? Oh, my bad. I'll hop on. Okay. So it's just making sure that they actually show up, because you'll be surprised of how many people that you can pick up on and how much money a lot of these businesses lose by just not really having the correct follow-up sequence. Okay. you know, for example, that prospect there may have not shown up if we didn't create that chat. We would have left him, would have gone, and he wouldn't have been able to pay. So we would have lost money, you would have lost commission. So following up attendance is very, very key. Then just a pre-call checklist. Before the call, I would always follow this checklist to make sure you're coming to the call ready, okay? Follow up with the lead to confirm the call and the time. So again, with that group, make sure that you're obviously confirming it. Camera and microphone is working. It sounds self-explanatory, but the amount of times I've seen closers go to the call without stuff working, but they haven't really thought of it. Clear understanding of who the prospect is. I again recommend for that day, have like a sheet that you write on that, like, okay, Jack, 15 years old or whatever. It's like Jack, 15 years old, starting an agency. Tim, 47, looking to scale, okay? And you can really start finding out about them so you know every call that you have in the calendar for that day and what they're like. You obviously won't know their personality types, but there could be things that you kind of just relate to them with, okay? Sales script and presentation, so make sure you have that prepared. Leverage folder, objection handling sheets to, again, make sure that you have ways to objection handle, and we'll go over that, obviously, once we're closing the calls and leveraging folder. Contract ready with their name if you guys do contracts and stuff like that. You don't want to be fluffing about when they say yes, like, oh, writing the name of the contract or getting it ready. Just have the contract for every single person ready for that day. Worst case, you don't use it, right? Just have it ready. And this is why I like to do the pre-call checklist in the morning, because then I can just get ready. I can set out a 30-minute hour block that I can just be like, okay, perfect. Let me just do all of my work here, and then you can go from there. Payment links and PIFs ready with payment plans. And yeah, that's pretty much what I like to get ready for the pre-call checklist, making sure that they attend and also just investigating them leads to make sure we know exactly who they are, and then obviously going from there. So yeah, that's a pre-call checklist. What I'm going to be going into now is how to actually close the call once they turn up to the call. So yeah, let me jump straight into it. So multiplier sales, closing deals. This is how you're going to make sure that you close every single deal once you get into your role to make sure that you increase your commission the most. If you can close, let's say you have 5 calls on the calendar and you can close 3 instead of 2 and you're making $500 commission per one, you're going to be making an extra $500 a day. If you do that over a month, you're making an extra $15,000 a month. The maths, okay? So just like making sure that you can close every single deal with super keys. This is going to be one of the most important modules that we go over today. Opening, rapport building, discovery phase, split testing discovery, sales presentation, and then closing the deal. And then in this is going to be objection handling as well. So opening, rapport, and building. Every sales call starts and follows a very similar framework. We start off with 2 main goals: helping the prospect become more comfortable. You have to understand that not only, especially at the start, maybe you were nervous, the prospect is even more nervous, right? They have booked in a call that they know they're going to potentially be sold to. They could potentially be giving up thousands and thousands of dollars or whatever other currency on that call. So you need to make sure that they feel a lot more comfortable, because if we can't do this in the opening phase, then it's going to be very hard to get honesty out of them when we go through stuff. Like, if I ask them a question, you know, how much is your business doing? If they're not vulnerable in that position and they are not comfortable to give me the true answer, I've heard people lie before. You know, I've seen people lie before. Oh, I'm at this. And then when they say for example, let's say they're booking 3 calls a week, but they're saying they're booking 3 calls a day. I now can't dig into that pain because they haven't been vulnerable and haven't been open with me, and they've lied, okay? They've just completely lied, and you'll see this happen a lot. And this will happen if they're not comfortable on the call and they don't trust you. So trust is one of the biggest things, okay? His prospect is going to be even more nervous than you are, especially if they see you as the authority figure, you've made content, etc., meaning they may not open as much, so we need to start off building rapport and getting them comfortable. This is why I said in the pre-call phase, it's good to learn more about them, because you could have literally opened it up with, again, I don't know why I can't remember it. I'm going to look now. Right, it was Alex Eubanks. I was thinking of Chris Eubank, but I think that's just a boxer or something. It's because they have the same last name. So you could be like, for that Gabe guy that we went on, we could be like, oh, I see you met Alex Eubank, like, how was that? Oh yeah, you make sick content, and then you guys can bond over something. You know, but some of the best calls that I've had is when I've noticed something or I've seen something, like there's been like a poster in the background of like a rapper, or there's been a jersey of a basketball player, or there's been something, and I can connect to that with. I can be like, oh, that's sick. You ever been to his show? Oh yeah, I went to his show last year. Or just like, oh, where you from? Oh, cool, I went there. Have you ever been here? Yeah, man. And I know they tell an anecdote, you tell a story. Like, That is what builds that rapport, is when you can both find common ground on something. The worst closers and the lowest close rate is not actually to do with the closer. I've seen some of the best closers, and this is a perfect example. I've seen some of the best closers in the entire world, right? Not in the entire world, but I've seen some great closers. They speak a little bit like this, and they ask, "How's the weather?" Good, and then they go into it. That is not going to get you anywhere. I've seen other closers not that good just start closing. There's some people that I know that I would pray to close because of just their energy, right? But they hop on, and it's what we look for more in closers, because we can train them. Training them is very simple. We look for that energy. If you hop on and you're excited, you're happy, you're open, you build that real connection straight away. And some of the people that, them people in life that are just so energetic and so happy, that just somehow seem to have all the friends, they seem to know every single person, they seem to get everywhere, they seem to have every connect, they seem to just have everything, because their energy is contagious. And when it's contagious, they're happy on the call. People reciprocate that. But if you're like, oh, so yeah, you're never going to get anywhere, okay? So helping the prospect become comfortable, find a common ground is my opinion, especially if you can find it on Instagram or something like that. If you can't find anything on Instagram or whatever you link to find a common ground, just, especially if they're a bigger business owner, so you're talking to like solar companies, agencies, you're more than likely not going to be talking about more childish stuff, but you could probably just be like, oh, where you from? And then where you calling from? Let's say they're calling from a certain place. You could, whether you've been there, or you could ask a question about it and then just get them to open up. One of the best things to do is to ask them questions at the start, especially in this phase. Again, for example, let's say they do have like a jersey or something from a team that you know. If you just ask them a question, and especially if they've, let's say, been to a game, you can be like, oh, how was that? And then they'll just start opening up because they're passionate in what they're talking about, so they're more comfortable, which will then correlate to, obviously, what you're speaking about. I know I've spent a lot of time on this, but trust me, this is the most important part. If you mess this up, you will fail the whole call. Make sure this is only 1 to 2 minutes. Make sure it's not too long. But this is the most important part of the call, in my opinion, because it sets up the rest of the call. Setting the frame. Now, setting the frame right is key to making sure the prospect understands that we are still the ones in control, okay? How's it going and how it is going, okay? Without this, prospects can move out of line and start to take control, meaning you have no chance of closing the deal. This is the initial kind of script that we follow and recommend to you as well. So, obviously, once we build that connection for 1 to 2 minutes, what we want to do is just set the frame. So, it could be like something like, perfect. So before we jump in, I just want to run through exactly how this call is going to go. Firstly, I'm going to ask you a few questions to get to know a little bit about you and your business. And then I'm going to find out where you're looking to go with it, your goals, and then what's holding you back from getting there. And then if we believe there's a good fit, I'll run over exactly what we do to help you. If not, what I like to do at the end as well is say just if not. So this makes them even more comfortable. It's like, if it's not the right fit, I'll just try and give you as much advice and value as possible, but I'm not going to sell you if it's not the right fit for either of us. Does that sound fair enough? They're going to say, yeah, of course, But as soon as you lower their guard and say, you know what, you could potentially not even be pitched here, then it makes them feel like, oh, okay, I can be a bit more open then, I'm not going to be directly pitched no matter who I am. It just makes them feel, even if you are going to pitch them, it just makes them feel safer. It makes them feel... it just lowers their guard, okay? Look, a lot of people I don't pitch on here. Worst case, I give you some free advice. Okay, sounds fair enough to me, right? So once we've built this rapport, like I said, one of the most important parts, we want to go into the discovery phase. Now we're into the sales script. It's all about identifying the prospect's business, piecing together the puzzle so we can dig through pain and find the perfect solution later in the call. Start off the first key question. What is the reason you booked in the call? This first question, after you've set the frame, is the most important question that you can ask. For the simple fact of the matter is it just reveals everything. If I just say, so what's the reason for you booking a call today? The reason I'm booking a call is because I want to take my business to this point and I'm struggling with this. Okay, you found out everything you already know. People that don't ask this question, I don't know what they're doing, okay? This will just tell you everything you need to know, and then from there, you can just start digging into it, okay? If you're on a fitness offer, it could be like, what is the reason you booked a call? I'm fed up of being how big I am. Okay, so you want to lose. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can see their pain is being big, okay? And then you can dig into, Okay, that makes sense. What is, what's causing you to feel this way about being big? Why does it cause so much stress to your life or strain to your life? Then you can find the external reason. I don't like how people look at me. I don't like how I feel. It's very heavy on me. So then you can start finding out, okay, so what is the reason? Why can't you just be fat? Why is that? Why do you want to get into shape? Because of this person or this person or this, and this. So now you know why they're on the call for the reason of what it is at the standpoint, and then you can obviously fire off from there and find out what other key parts there are. Okay, from this question, find out more about their business. So who do you help, how do you help them, how much do you charge, how many calls do you book a month? Again, it may be different for the business that you're in. It could be how much weight do you want to lose, what have you tried before, how much are you losing per week at the moment, how much do you want to lose. What you just want to do in the discovery phase is find out as much as possible. I like to have a discovery script, but I like to go off of it because they could say anything. So again, like I said, it could be like, what's the reason you booked a call? I want to lose weight. Okay, then you go into, what is the reason you want to lose weight? Why can't you just be fat forever? Oh, because I want to, run around with my kids. Okay, how old are your children? Okay, cool. So then you can start digging into more pain in that point. You can be like, okay, so how long have you been this big? I've been in for this long. What have you tried before? I've tried going to the gym, tried the diets. What about that didn't work for you? Oh, it didn't work because this, and this. You can start finding out everything about them. So with discovery, you'll have a script to the start, but as you get into a very advanced closer, it's better to go off of the script because as they say something, there may be a completely different question that you need to ask than what's on the script. Okay, so anything that you would need to know, do not look over this stage. It will set you up later. Ask as many questions as you can. Find out as much as possible about them. It could be like, okay, what do you do for a living right now? I work an office job, so it's very static. Okay. And then you can ask, how many times a week do you have takeaway? How many times a week do you work out? How many times a week do you train? Is your, partner big as well? Are they looking to lose weight? No, they're in shape. Okay, so you could subconsciously, okay, there's some competition there. She doesn't feel good enough, or, you get my point. You can keep going. You just want to find out as much as possible. Why they're in this pain of what they're in, what they've done to try and fix it, why that hasn't worked. So then you can start molding around it. Because if you say, for example, if she said gym and diet didn't work, if you just then pitch a gym and diet again without changing that objection, then you're never going to be able to sell them, okay? Their objection is going to be, okay, that won't work for me, and they're going to give you fluff objections. I need to speak to my partner, I need to do X, Y, and Z, where you could have solved it. All objections come from the start of the call. They're just said at the end of it, okay? So, like I said, you not solving that objection of, okay, what have you tried before? I've tried gymming and dieting. How long did you try that for? Okay, I've tried that for 2 weeks. What was the reason that you stopped it? And then they'll give you a reason. So now in the later, you could set together a kind of more of a custom plan. They'll be like, okay, I know obviously gymming and dieting didn't work for you last time, but we have one-on-one support with our team that checks up on you every single day. All you have to do is report back to us and we'll make sure that you're doing it. You need that accountability system, okay? That could push them over the edge compared to if you just said, yeah, so this is a gym and diet plan. In their head, they'll think, oh, I've already tried that and it didn't work. Oh, I've got to speak to my husband. Then you try an objection handle and they just keep blah, 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 okay? So like I said, all objections come from this phase here. If we can't find out everything and then just tailor make the rest of the sales pitch to them. Goal seeking. The sales call should go in a ramp type of format. We're still on the rise and peak this emotional rise is talking about their goals. This will truly push their excitement, releasing dopamine when talking about their goals. How much do they want to make? What's the time to do? I'm going to make this, for example, with the fitness again. How much weight do you want to lose? Okay, cool. Is there anyone in mind that you want to look like? Is there a certain shape or body type that you want to get to? I don't know. She names a random woman. I don't know. She just names like a celebrity or something. Okay, cool. And how long in how long time do you want to do that? Oh, I want to do it in the next 3 months. Then you want to dig even deeper. So you found the baseline goals. What would that mean for your kids if you were in shape for the next 3 months? Oh, they've got the summer holidays coming up. I'd be able to go and do this, and this. How would your husband feel about you losing weight? Oh, he'd be super excited for me. He'd be super happy. He's already done it himself. He would be, and get them talking about it, because as they're talking about this, they're releasing dopamine, and they're like, wow, this goal, and they're envisioning it, this life of, and in this goal seeking, it's more about how much can you dig into their goal. It's not just a baseline, oh, I want to lose weight, because you'll never sell off that. What does losing weight do? What does it do for your kids? What does it do for the husband? And what does it do for you? And then they'll say, I'll just feel so good about myself. And then in the discovery phase, for example, it's why the discovery is so important, you can't skip it, is you could have asked, and they could have said, it's really difficult, I have a lot of pain. You could be like, okay, so now losing that weight and having, no back pain, how would that make you feel on a day-to-day basis? My day would be a lot easier, etc. How would just, getting out of bed and going to work feel? How would, going, and you said, and you can, again, loop it back. For example, they could say they have to miss a lot of nights out with their friends because they're too overweight, that they feel subconscious. How would it feel to be going out, and you could go as deep as knowing their names? How would it feel to go out with Sarah and Katie on the weekend, knowing that, you're attractive, especially maybe if they're single, that you're attractive and that you can obviously get with these men and you can build new relationships and you can, start finding a future husband, maybe a new relationship, just because of the weight that you lose. It's not going to bring you pain. You're not going to be, all of this. And they'll be like, yeah, wow, this is what I need, okay? And what you've done, you haven't done anything. And this is what I love about sales. It's so simple, because you haven't done anything. You haven't changed, all you've done is found out about them and then linked their goals to their discovery on what they're doing right now. And their whole life is gonna change. They're gonna build so much dopamine that they're gonna be like, wow, okay, so keep that in mind. We're carrying on with this fitness example. They are now have no pain. Their husband's gonna, treat them better. They're gonna like them more. They're gonna be able to play with their kids. They're not gonna be in pain going to work. They're gonna be able to go out on the weekends with their friends, not feel subconscious. And we've built these goals, and now they're like, wow, the goals are so high. So we've got to the top of the ramp. We've discovered, we've built the goals. It's now time to crush them goals, because there's so much dopamine that's just been released. One of the biggest dopamine releases is talking about your goals, which is why when you talk about them, doing the action to get to your goal after is so much harder. You've probably said before, your goal, for example, could have been, I want to be a closer. And you start talking about, I could be in Bali, making $12,000 a month, doing this. And you're expressing your goals and you build high levels of dopamine. And as soon as you, for example, get to watch this video, you're struggling. You're like, oh, fuck, well, I want to do something else. Because your dopamine's so high that when you go to do the actual work that's needed and your dopamine drops, it feels horrible. Which is why it's not really good to talk about goals often, okay? Then we want to build the pain. Okay, this is a stage where we start declining from the peak, hitting home the reality of now the big, the little issue that's now a big constraint because we've built their goals up so high. And all we're doing is just reaffirming that none of these goals can be hit without the current constraint in place. You could be like, okay, I know, name could be Mandy. Okay, Mandy, with all of that in mind, the last time that you tried this, it didn't end up working. So what makes you think you carrying on doing what you're doing is going to get you to your desired outcome? Oh, it isn't. I'm not going to be able to do it. And you said earlier that you've been in this state for the last 6 years. If nothing changes now, do you think anything will change for the next 6 years? No, I don't. Okay, and in the next 6 years, if you carry on staying the way that you're staying, do you reckon you'll have time to play with your kids? Do you reckon that your husband will respect and love you? Do you reckon that you'll be able to go out on the weekend and really live the rest of your early 30s or late 20s or whatever it is? No. So all we've done is re-loop the discovery of you haven't changed in the last however long, and re-looping it with their goals of you want to hit this, but you're not going to hit it with this. And that's going to dig so much pain. They're going to be like, wait, I need to make a change. And that's what's going to spark in them. So when we get to selling, it's so much easier, okay? So all we're doing is reaffirming, like I said, and what this will mean for the future of business, crumbling the dream, etc., etc. We could talk about that holiday body. It could be like, okay, it's that holiday in Spain. Are you going to feel confident to be able to go on the beach in a nice bikini that you spoke about? Are you going to look like this woman that you spoke about? No. And you'll see their mood drop. Their mood will completely start to die because they've built their goals up, and it's like, I'm just never going to be able to hit it, okay? And the goal seeking stage has started. And if you don't do this right, what happens is people in their goal stage, they'll build that dopamine. If you don't build the pain, what will happen is they'll be like, oh no, I'll go do it myself. You know, I'm really motivated now. I want to go do this, because they've built so much dopamine. If you can't kill this dopamine very, very quickly and very, very hard, you're not going to be able to sell them. You have to kill this dopamine to get them to a low, low level to be able to then sell on that. Okay. So pain building is super, super key. Then the solution step. Now we've killed their, dream, killed the point of, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this. Now we want to give them their solution, okay? All we've done, and this is what I like to say, because a lot of people are like, oh, but now you've just kind of killed them. You're just, selling on that point. All we've done is amplified the emotions. They still get very, very depressed that they're in the way that they are. Okay, but we can't get them to a stage of making a change because they're comfortable in it. If they weren't comfortable, they would have made a change 6 years ago, but they haven't. They're comfortable. If we can rise, anything that comes up higher has to come down lower. So if we're here, okay, that's their depressive state. Let's just say it's around here, right? We bring the dopamine up to here, which is more than they ever have. Let's say this is their normal state, and we crash it down to here. You can't even see where my hand is. They're going to want to now make a change. But if they're here, they don't care. They're not going to make a change. What? They make a change. It don't mean anything. So we need to make sure they're ready to buy. So you could say something like, so this is to make sure that they are ready at this point and we don't need to go over anything else. So it could be something like, cool, Mandy, I have an understanding of your, your current situation and your goals and where you wanted to go. Am I cool to share my screen and run over your solution? What I like to say also before this is, now, if there was a solution for you, Mandy, would you implement it today or in the next 6 months? Now, this is the perfect objection handling question before we go into the sales presentation, because what happens if we go into the presentation without objection handling here, then they're going to build up that objection. They're going to build upon it over the next 10, 20 minutes. And when we get to selling, we're never going to be able to sell. So what I like to say, if they're like, yeah, today, if they say 6 months, you could be like, okay, Mandy, with everything said, and obviously you wanting to make a change to get to desired outcome, but currently being in this situation for the last 6 years and nothing making a change, what would make you want to delay it even further? Then they'll give you an objection. Or I'm not too sure. I don't know if this would work. I've tried this before. And you can start then building objections. And then you can start handling their objections. For example, I've tried this before and it didn't work. And then you can start maybe digging into maybe your offer's different. Maybe it's one-on-one support. Maybe it's different ways in the offer. And this is where you can start obviously solving that. Okay. And you can also understand when you share your screen what you're digging into more than anything. Okay. So like I said, this question shows if they're ready to buy or not. If they say 6 months, there is a clear objection and showing the solution is a problem without solving this. Is key to catch it here than just going through a solution, because they'll just never buy. Okay, so now we just want to sell the solution. I do just want to say sometimes it's best to split test discovery. There are other ways you can do this discovery phase instead of speaking to them. If it's like a fitness offer and stuff, I do like kind of like speaking to them and just kind of building that connection. If it's more of a business, it's sometimes great to use a sheet like this. The reason for that is because you can really start to build upon it. And let's say, for example, their current offer niche, helping solar company, let's say they're an agency, make, add 1 mil a year, okay? They have 52 current clients. Their current acquisition is ads. Their headline is X, Y, and Z. They're booking, let's say they're booking, 72 calls a month. The goal is to get to, the goal is to get to, 5 mil a year or whatever. Or no, the goal is to get to like 100 clients or something like that per month. You can then see the constraint. Obviously you can dig deeper into like, okay, is it, how much are you spending on ads? Okay, I'm spending this much. Okay, what's your show rate? Out of them calls booked, how many show? How many are, qualified? And then you can start finding out, is it a booked call problem? Is it an offer problem? What is the problem that you can show them? This only really works if you're more skilled in that industry and you know a little bit more about it. This is just what we personally use, because obviously Jack Our Closer knows a little bit more about kind of the info space and our agency and what we do and how we help. But yeah, this is another great way to kind of use it. So now the sales presentation. When we open it, we just want to reinstate that guarantee that we had. This instantly engages the prospect because obviously now that their pain's been very, very much heightened, once we show them the guarantee again, they're like, wow, I want this. I'm going to get this. Okay, this is what I want. Okay, and spikes their dopamine back up a little bit, but that dopamine we then start to correlate with our solution because the dopamine spike, the correlations with us, so then they buy from us. Throughout this whole process, you want to keep it short. You've done most of the legwork in the first part of the call. This should only fill up 10 to 20% of the time allocated. You don't want this to be long. People get confused of the sales presentation needs to be longer than the discovery phase. No, the discovery phase, the goal seeking, the pain building needs to be 80% of the call, okay? Because that is where you're going to find out the most information. This is just showing them. And they don't really care what they see. They just want to know they can get them to the outcome. They're not difficult by any means. The second stage is breaking down the service step by step from start to finish. Obviously, there is no need to waste time in miniature details, etc. But the main core aspect of delivery you need to add into. For example, it could be like, these are your tracking sheets. This is your growth team. This is your sales automation. By all means, go into the folders, Lucid charts, build out something. I see some people as well going into actually the back end of their delivery, showing maybe modules, showing dietary plans, showing team members. Just show what you're selling, okay? Again, it doesn't really matter. You're not really selling on the actual points of the. You're not selling a tracking sheet. You're selling that outcome. You're selling the fact that Mandy can now play with her kids, or the husband's going to respect it. You're playing on that, which is why that discovery phase is more important and longer than this, because they don't care, like I said, what they're seeing. They just want to know that it can get them to their desired outcome. Okay. Then back in our service, what I like to do as well at the end is just add in results, add in guarantees. If your client doesn't have guarantees, that's completely fine. A lot of people won't, especially if it's more of a non-ROI offer. So for example, we guarantee 50K a month for our agency added. The reason we can do that is because we build their ads, build their sales team, build their setting team. So that's like a direct ROI that we can correlate to. If it's a fitness offer, I can't really guarantee that you get abs because it's more on you than it is on me. I'm not the one making your meals and taking you to the gym. So yeah, they may not have guarantees, but it can always help. But if not, social proof with results of other people in similar situations doing the same is also just as good. Okay, the more you can stack the proof, the better. And in some cases, if you have enough proof and results, you can remove a guarantee altogether. Then closing the deal. On the second to last page, what we want to do is just pre-objection handle before the price. Do you have any questions about what I've just gone over? Normally they'll have a couple. How does this work? How does the one-on-one work? How does the dietary plan work? How quickly does this go? These are just like pre-objections that you can just kind of handle before you get to the price. It's very, very simple, okay? It makes the offer seem affordable when presented, okay? Just allows them to sway that buying power, okay? Once they have no questions, ask what the next steps are. This can be awkward, but we need them to ask for the price. It could be like, any more questions? Normally they'll say, no, just, I guess, the next step. And you could just kind of got to push out of them. Is there any more questions that you want to go over? Cool. What do you reckon the next steps are from here? I guess learning the price or how I get onboarded and stuff like that. You'll be like, okay, cool. Just explain the next steps, the price, and ask if you can share, obviously, the prices, etc. And then obviously, once you get onto the pricing, you can just make sure that you're silent. You show the price. You say, yep, so for the next 3 months of this, I like to add in the end outcome. So, for example, to help you get to 150, I don't know in pounds, but like if you want to get to 50 kg, for example, in the next 30 days, it's $4,000 for the next 3 months or whatever, right? And then just go silent. And you just got to sit there in silence with them until they say the first word. Whoever speaks first loses. In fact, it's like a cowboy showdown, okay? Whoever shoots first wins. But like, you get what I mean, right? Whoever speaks first loses, right? Temp checks, what you want to do throughout the sales presentation is make sure that they're still engaged. You don't want them to lose that. Does that make sense? Any questions so far? What would be something that would benefit for you? This will keep them alert on their toes, so they will pay attention. Closing the deal. Now, closing the deal, revealing the price is the hardest part of the actual, sales call. Is just collecting that cash, okay? You will have times where the prospect is super warm and brought in, and they'll just say, yep, cool, let's go with it. And you'll also have times that they give you a bunch of objections. So go get them to ask the price. So awesome, any more questions? No, just really the price. If they do not say something, it could be, just, keep going, okay? and just say no. Is this something you could think get to go? Yes. So what would be the next steps? Okay, I guess getting onboarded, I guess joining, etc. Just get them to ask the pricing anyway. Okay, once you do, the price is X for guaranteeing X or getting you to X. Okay, make sure that you always add in what they're getting out of this, not the product, not for this, you're not for this tracking, blah, blah, blah. You get, for you to get six-pack abs, it's going to cost you this. Okay, go silent, let them speak first. From here, handle any objection that comes this way. Now, objection solution list. Now, we can undercover the real objections, which I kind of put in the wrong order. 99% of the time, the objections are fake. They're called smoke screens. They're going to say, I need to think about it. I need to speak to my wife. Let me get back to it. You've probably had this before where, let's say you go shopping with someone and with a friend and they pick out a piece of clothing for you or for them or whatever, right? And you don't like it, so you don't want to hurt their feelings. Let's say they say, oh, let's go to this restaurant, and you don't like it. Let's say you're not as close to them. If you're close to them, you'll be like, I don't want to eat that. What are you on about? But if you're not that close to them, which you've only met each other for the last 30 minutes, you don't want to come across as rude and hurt their feelings, okay? So you'll say, no, it's nice. I'm just not hungry. You know, if you eat, for example, a friend's mum's pasta and it's not too good, it's like, no, it's nice. I'm just not that hungry right now. Yeah, I'll get them next time I come. If there's like a piece of clothing that you don't like, but someone's picked it out for you, okay? So how do we discover the real objection, okay? Because you're going to get a bunch of these, which is a bunch of this, okay? Just a bunch of fluff, bunch of smoke screens. So how do we discover the real objection that's stopping them from either booking a call or buying? Well, there are usually a couple of reasons that we need to understand first. It's either money, time, value, trust, or self-doubt. The way we uncover these is by just finding out what it is. So it could be like, price aside for a second, is this something that you believe could get you to the desired outcome? If they say no, then what it is either a value issue, a trust issue, or a self-doubt issue. So then we have to, question it. It's like, okay, so is it the fact that you don't believe the program will get you there? After seeing all of our case studies like X, Y, and Z, or is it that you don't believe you can stay accountable or stick to it? And yeah, I don't think I can really stick to this right now. Okay, then you can start handling that objection. It could be, okay, what makes you believe that, you don't want to, you're not going to stick to this, okay? Oh, because this and this. And then you could loop it back. But you want to get to desired outcome, right? Yeah. And it's bringing you Y pain, X pain, Z pain. Yeah. Okay, and if you don't change something now, like we spoke about, this is going to happen, this is going to be the outcome, and nothing's going to change for the X amount of years, and you're still going to be in this unhappy state that you're in now. Yeah. Okay, so you saying that you don't think that you can do it, and you having self-doubt, are you going to let that hold you back from getting to desired outcome that will allow you to get X, Y, and Z? Yeah, I guess not, man. Let's go with it. Okay. So yeah, if they say yes, it's clearly a price objection. Okay. If they're hesitant or no, it's obvious their value. You can obviously generate results for people like X. What would cause you not to take action? Now, if it's a price issue, you can obviously find that out. Like, yeah, of course. Okay, so your goal with these questions is to load them, then ask a question which would determine the outcome, as you cannot ask up front, as they'll just keep smoke screening. You need to kind of like loop around it and come back to it. The more you do this, the better that you'll get, and the easier it'll be to objection handle. It's more just, again, this is why I said the discovery is so useful, because like I said there, I'm linking back to the pain, I'm linking back to their goals, I'm linking back to the discovery, I'm linking back to what they said, which is why you need to spend the most time on that more than anything, okay? And again, if it is, it would get me to the desired outcome, okay? Okay, and then you can start finding out, okay, so it is a money objection. If I split this payment up, would that help you get invested into it? Yeah, it would. Because some people, they feel embarrassed saying that they don't have the money for it, okay? So then we can start helping them out. Look, it's okay that do you have this? We can set you up on a payment plan, etc. And you can go around it, and this is where this comes in. If it's a money objection, make sure that you have payment plans ready, okay? Make sure you speak to the client and have payment plans. Is it value, offer, issue, or maybe not the right fit? Trust. Is there guarantees? Can you leverage other clients? Time, offer, change more, done for you. Is that stuff that you can build, okay? And make sure that it's easier to kind of get them to that desired outcome. So that is everything for closing the deals, multiply sales, closing the deals. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I'm now going to be going over tracking and data, what to do after that. And then finally, we'll obviously be on that point of where we can get you a guaranteed role. Welcome to Multiply Sales Tracking and Reporting. I'm just going to go over two simple parts today, the data tracking sheets and then also the daily reporting, okay? So let's jump straight into it, okay? This is just key to make sure that we know and can keep on top of everything, but also the business and the business owners can understand the percents, the close percents, the show percents, etc. So this is the tracking sheet. I'm going to, again, if you want something like this, then obviously just DM me and I can send it over to you. But this is the track commission, show rate and everything like that. So let me jump into it and show you how it works. So basically how it works is you've got the revenue, the cash collected. This is all automated as you obviously pull it up. So if you just go, for example, cash collected is here. Let's say the rev is 5K. The payment type could be like, I don't know, split over 2, for example. So it could be $2,500 cash collected. You'll see the cash collected here, the revenue here, the amount of calls booked. You can obviously put the dates in as well. So when the calls are, did they show? Did they not show? Did they close? So yes, they did close. Didn't show up. You kind of have to put yes. Then obviously didn't show up. You could put yes. You could put no. You could put didn't show up. You can put all these things that just show obviously what they're doing. As you can see here that it adds up the total calls that you've had and the live calls. So that is any call that you've had that is that is shown, for example. So you can then see your closing rate as well. You can see payments complete. You can list down objections. You can start finding out, okay, most people have a price objection, for example. That may be because there's not enough value. Maybe the guarantee isn't good enough. Do they need follow-ups? Any call notes? Who they were booked in by, so this is more for the setter. The payment method, date of payment, auto charge, payment 1, payment 2, calls, live call, no show, and obviously the call recording link you can add to review yourself or to have anyone else review as well. But this just allows you very simply to track month by month how many calls you've had, how many live calls you had, what the show rate was, what the close rate was, and everything like that. And then obviously it'll come through your monthly snapshot. You'll be able to see all the calls, the closing rate, the cash collected, and then obviously everything will just come through in there. And then obviously sales, close, revenue, cash, and just, you can track everything. People can track it as well, so your clients can obviously track what you're doing up as well. And again, it just lets you keep on top of everything. Do you need to go follow up on them? Any notes for the next call? You can start finding out objections and stuff like that. And then this sheet will really help you allow to grow. And obviously you can see, look, I only did, you could see, okay, my close rate dropped by 15% this month. Why did that happen? Did I get worse? Was there a problem with something? Like, what is the reason? You can find it out and obviously make sure that you are always growing and expanding. And then just with daily reports, at the end of the day, obviously you just want to report to them what's happened, how many calls booked, showed calls, qualified calls, closes, a little bit of kind of data off of this sheet here. You can then just take and put it into your own words. So close notes, for example, we could put Nathan makes 15K a month right now. You can just put a little bit more about who they are, why they closed, the good fit that they are, what they're looking for. Well, James maybe was a little skeptical, guaranteed push him over the edge. Defo need to get amazing results for James. So then they know what to do on the back end delivery for each client, how warm they are, how much they spent, how much they're making, where they're currently at. So they have a better idea on how to actually deliver now, because, that's one of the most important parts. Okay, no other notes. All disqualified calls didn't have the investment needed. Maybe it'd be great to add a financial question. So you could maybe add, okay, look, we didn't have too many qualified calls, or they didn't show, or I called them. Just making sure that the owner of the business knows everything about what happened that day, who you closed, who you didn't close, why they didn't close. Is there any other follow-ups coming on? Anything else? Just making sure that these reports are super detailed, so they can then obviously link in the sheet as well. So yeah, literally you're just tracking in here, sending the daily reports, and that is basically how simple tracking and reporting is going to be for you. So now on to multiply sales, landing a high ticket sales role. What we are all here for, we've learned how to sell, how to make sure they turn up, how to sell on the call, how to objection handle, how to track, how to report. It's probably quite simple as what you've seen. It's now time to actually get you a role. And I'm going to explain this from two angles. Me having scaled my own agency past $40,000 a month and having to hire world-class talent for myself and also prospects, but along with me training and placing 200 plus closers with the biggest companies and people and what people look for. So not only what I look for, but what other people look for and what everyone looks for in the industry. I'm going to reveal the secrets to be able to land you a high ticket sales role. So what we will cover: account position, location finding, guaranteed role, outreach script, the easy route, contracting into a role. So let me jump straight into it. So the account positioning, one of the most important parts and probably the most important part of landing a role is literally just your account positioning, your perception of your account and how you look, okay? Because that's what you're reaching out from. Now, if you're reaching out via a platform that does not have back-end perception such as email, it doesn't really matter. You can't really change anything. But if you're on, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, your perception is key, and what you're showing to the world will show if you get a role or not. If I get 20 applicants for a role, before I look at their message, I look at their account. And if it's not set up in this exact way, and I know other people do this as well, 15 out of the 20 are excluded like that. Literally like that. When we used to do this, like a year ago, we would just send them over their way. Like we wouldn't really connect them or anything. Like this was before our offer was like super developed. A lot of people would be like, "Oh, I'm not going to work with this guy." Oh, why? His profile looks like a scam, or his profile looks like this. So it's one of the biggest things that you can look out for. And if that here is getting lost in the request, trust me, I've been in accounts with millions of followers. Every single request gets opened. You just didn't make the cut. So here's how to make the cut, okay? And a couple of good accounts that I want to show you. For example, Jack Fretchit, you can see here, all you really want to show is that you're a real person, you're a cool person to work with, and what you do actually is real. So you can see Jack here, he's just got some pictures of him, on holiday, just some flicks. You can see that they get likes, you can see that he gets, comments as well. You could just see that he's a real person. If you come on here, there's no pictures, there's no profile picture, or even you come on here, he's got like 4 likes. It just shows no one really messes with him. Another good thing that he does is obviously puts our main company. So if someone comes onto his page, obviously if you're not working with anyone right now, it doesn't really matter. But they come on, it's like, okay, he's closing for this company. They've got some big clients on hand as well, and they've got hundreds and hundreds of results. Clearly, he knows what he's doing, and he's doing something right. Another great account is Ben. Shout out Ben. Now, these guys, every single account has their good and has their bad. Now, the problem with Jack's and also Ben's, they both have the same problem, is they're not using highlights. And I don't really see any, sales reps use highlights, but they really, really should. Because it's the first thing that you click on to learn more about that person. What I do like about Ben's, though, is 1.6 million deals closed. So that's his authority statement. For Jack, it was who he was working with, so multiplyclients.io. But for Ben, he just puts 1.6 mil, and then from 0 to 15K a month with high ticket sales, he's obviously now helping people do the same. But this is just a very, very great statement, okay? Again, you can see he adds followers. I'm not a massive fan of the profile picture because it's 2 people. I just like having one person. Like Jack's profile picture was perfect. But you can, again, see Ben is a real person, okay? You can see him out. You can see him doing stuff. Doing just random stuff, right? You can see he's got shorts. This is what I love as well, is when they have shorts and you can learn more about the actual person. My name's Ben, 21. You can learn more about him as an actual person, etc. Okay? So yeah, this is what I like. I like an account like this. These are 2 good accounts. Now, 2 accounts that I'm not a massive fan of. Yes, he has high ticket sales in his bio, which is great. 36 followers shows that he's not really grown in the space, and there's just a bunch of random edits on here more than anything. There's no like pictures, like he's talking about personal branding when he's got high ticket sales, so the messaging isn't really congruent. Outreach tips as well, he's giving tips on outreach as well when he's meant to be in high ticket sales. I don't mind this, maybe some more pictures and stuff, but this isn't a good account. This is an account that you'd click off of. The edits aren't even, the best in the world. So yeah, I would change this account quite a bit, okay? Couple 3-4 pictures. Remove all of these shorts here if they don't make sense because these are all like content creation, read the captions, like all of these need to go, like edits for people and stuff like that. It isn't really congruent. And then high ticket sales, but also helping coaches for their calendar. There's too much going on. Nothing's really aligned. You need to pick one or you need to pick the other. You're in high ticket sales, you're an appointment sale, or are you an editor? Pick one, go with it fully, okay? And then another one. This one, like, I like the profile picture. Sales professional is cool. It's just a private account. I can't see anything. Now, Dan literally just joined Multiply Sales about 5 minutes ago. So by the time that you come back to this, he's going to have a dialed in account with a dialed in role. So keep tuned for that. Just when I was building it, he wasn't signed on. So yeah, he made the right decision there, and you're going to see some crazy stuff. So I'm going to go into the ideal account. I don't know why I've linked that. Let me go into the ideal account. So what can we add to make this an actual perfect account? What does a perfect account look like? So profile pic would prefer to obviously just be clearer of just him, and obviously clearer so I can know, because when you look at the DMs section, profile picture is going to be everything. Stuff with a bigger and more perceptive background. We've seen places like if there's like a blue ocean behind them or a beautiful background, is higher click-through rate than if it's something darker that you're not really going to click on. Goodfellow account, known and trusted. Get results in bio, which is perfect. Mutuals in the space, so this is all perfect. I think this is amazing. Add highlights of life and results for people to click and scroll through. So if there's a highlight of him traveling, and I obviously know Ben, he's out in Marbella. Pictures of him out in Marbella, him getting results, him closing deals, etc. Shows proof, and obviously just shows a little bit more about him. Pictures of himself being a normal human being is perfect as well. So his account is nearly perfect. I like most of everything here. Just a few changes, and it would be a perfect account. And this is why Ben's been able to close 1.6 million in sales and being able to get amazing roles, is just because he focused on this. Maybe he knew, maybe he didn't know, but he's done a good job. Now, I'll be reviewing some of your accounts on Instagram, so in the description, go to Harvey Warner and DM me rate. I'll review your account, give them ratings and improvements. Now this does not apply for just Instagram. All of them very much apply the exact same. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, they're all very same structures. The only difference on them ones is they have a banner, so just add a banner. It can be high perception, it can be your company logo, it can be a picture of a view, it can be anything, okay? Just add something, again, very high level. Now, location finding. We also need to look at the best places to find job roles in order so we know where to send these messages. So I'm going to go through these now. So this is the best places that you're going to find a job role. So number one is school. Now, school is a really great way for you to go and find a job role, because most people in here, there's two ways to do this. You either look for communities that have your ideal type of customer. So it could be solar. Type in solar. It could be like solar agencies or something like that, and that you want to work for them. You could go on there. You could go into a coaches group. Coaches, expert coaching program. There's 25k people in here. Probably all coaches. Probably all need a sales rep. Or you can go into other communities like I'm not too sure if it will come up or not. It won't come up. Or you can join a community like ours, where we will just place you guaranteed into a role. So you can either go into one of these and, again, like I said, find out, find people inside the group of your ideal niche. Next, what we have is Instagram. What you can do, you can go onto someone's page. For example, Luke Alexander's page, he helps sales reps, right? That's what he does. He is a sales coach, okay? What you can do is because if he's a sales coach, he's obviously got people with him that are probably looking for this service of hiring closers, because he partners them up with them. Daniel Smith, who's this guy? And just go through, okay, how many followers do they have? Are they someone that could, benefit from my service? You can open up these and be like, okay, would they benefit from my service? 2K, 35k, offer launch AI. So we might say sell some AI stuff. So what you can do now is obviously reach out to this person. So it's a great way to find people to obviously outreach for a role. And if you find that they're good, what you can do is you can click this button up here. It's going to show you people very similar. Co-founder of World Liberty. It won't let me show more, but you get the point. Then we have Facebook. Now, I probably wouldn't really recommend Facebook out of all of them, but close the job post. There's going to be stuff that comes up for you very simply. I mean, if it loads. But yeah, I wouldn't really recommend it, because the lower quality, these people aren't really... You get lower quality roles on Facebook is what I'll say. So you can see here, you closer, high paying closer job in a minute. This one, we're one setter, one part-time closer, 20k offer for 6 months, business done 350k, without a sales team, service 1010, testimonials, business 0. We're looking for a set to contact leads, or we could start for closers. compensation. Okay, so it's a 10% cash collection. Both will be trained one-on-one if you're only sold or set. So yeah, you can find roles on Facebook as well if you literally just type in like closer job post. There's obviously also going to be high ticket sales groups that you can obviously join as well, that you can join, that people are obviously going to have job roles inside of. We're hiring a high ticket remote sales staff, hiring high ticket OTE, inbound setter and closer 10 to 20k. You get me? Then finally, you have places like Upwork, but I've put that there. I mean, this is pretty much pointless. These are the main places in order, in my opinion. Some of the best locations to actually go and find people to outreach to then go and obviously get hired. Okay, so some of the best locations to land a role. Now you've found the people and you have an array of, you're in a community, or you found a bunch of job posts, or you found, Instagram accounts, or you found these people that you actually now want to go and work with. It's time to obviously learn how we can obviously get placed into their, get into their business with this outreach script here. So now we have dialed in the profile, we now need to capture prospects' attention and convert them into book calls, or allow us to run a test trial with them. Now I see so many people getting this wrong with these outreach scripts. So for example, hey, I'm a hungry, consistent, coachable and hardworking individual. How to sell people means you're serious, growing your business, blah, blah, blah. Too direct, pushing for an interview without really knowing anything about him. Not enough value or insight. He's just talking, not really about anything that he can bring us. He's just talking about me. I'm Miller. I'm hungry. I'm consistent, coachable, which is all cool. But as a psychologist, how to sell and motivate people, which means more and better clients if you're serious about growing the business. So again, this as well is it's a trigger word. It's like saying money on the table. Your trigger, if you're serious about growing your business, like I'm not serious already, is a trigger word that will instantly put people off of your client planning an interview, and I'll show you what I can do, okay? Way too forward. This one, hey, open. I know it's an appointment there, but imagine it for closing. Open. Hey, Luke, open the chat. What about appointment? No clear goal, no clear vision, no nothing. Okay. There are two outreach methods that are superior and will land your role with any type of client. So firstly, we have the direct loom approach. Now, I would recommend using the direct loom approach if a prospect puts out a story and is looking for a, that's meant to say closer, or if you have free time along with no results. You have to give more in order to get the role. So if you don't have results and you don't have previous experience, you have to give more to obviously get, that extra step, okay? This approach consists of sending a loom, going through a slide of documents and credentials. This is a great example that we got sent that I want to just go through of what you would do. This is for an appointment setup, but I haven't ever been sent one for a closer, but this would work the exact same, okay? So why you should hire, obviously, Thingy. I probably wouldn't put this. I would just put how I, Harvey Warner, can help you close an extra, or how can help you get to an X closing rate, etc. as a high ticket sales rep. But his introduction, info about me, his age, his time zone, what he's seeking to do as well. Current experience, what he's done before. Do you have current experience? You can see he's booking calls, he's phoning, he's etc. Previous experience, appointment setting, cold calling, generated millions in loans. Have you ever, done anything? Investments. This is a really, really big one. People look for investment. Invested into high ticket sales program, paid in full. Coaches have generated over millions, invested over 4 figures in myself. Investments is another big one because they know that now you're tied down to it. We let people that join Multiply Sales put working with at Multiply Sales in their bio because it helps them get roles easier because they know they work with us. There's kind of a link back to a higher power. Strengths, adaptability, competitive, continuous improvement, and consistency. Why he works is a really great one to be like, okay, so why are you not going to go start your own agency? Why are you not going to do this? He loves the location freedom, loves to work, and loves the natural progression. And then obviously the socials to easily contact him if we obviously need to as well. But this is a loom that goes over everything that we would need. You could film it once, you could film it personalized, just a little bit about yourself. I'm a closer, I do this is my experience, this is what I can help you do, this is why I do it, this is why I want to do it, and everything like that. So loom is a great way, and also we can build a connection with this person, we can hear them, we can see them, we can make a judgment off of that instead of just words, and again, not wasting our time on a call, which they will probably just say no to anyway because they don't want to hop on a call, waste 30 minutes of their life speaking to you. Instead, in a 2-minute voice note that they can put to 2x speed and it's 1 minute, they can see more about you as a person. Now the direct result approach. So if you don't want to send a loom, this is exactly like the loom, but you're pushing a message first before anything, okay? And you're sending a mass, not replying to job posts. So hook, intro, result. So first name, so it could be like, his name is Jack. Jack, I'm a closer. I've generated X for at first name. It's amazing if you can at the person in X time without them doing Y. So without them having to take calls, without them having to, with a low close percent. And then you can pitch value. I don't want to waste your time on a call if this isn't a good fit, but I just made a quick 2-minute video about myself. To allow you to be the judge, reply, thumbs up if I can send it your way. Then obviously you send a thumbs up like this. What this allows you to do is instead of filming a bunch of looms, you can send a bunch of messages. If they say yes, you make a personalized loom for them. You can bring up their Instagram account. The more personalized it is, the more likely you're going to actually go and get the role, okay? Then obviously loom message wrote, hey, first name and closer from the UK, looking for a role. I have X previous experience, been setting closing, for this long. Recently invested into the sales program. Do you have any space on your team for a hungry closer? That's what you could push as well, okay? Then we have the bait and switch. Then finally you have the bait and switch where you can conversate with the role. Love the reel. Any more coming? How's it going, man? Can I ask a quick question? I'm not a massive fan of the bait and switch. I know a lot of people do this, but you can start connecting. You can build a relationship with the person. It's a lot longer of a sales cycle, maybe a couple of months, because and it could get people angry as well because you're just wasting their time and they don't want to reply. I prefer to be a lot more direct, give them the value, save them the time, make it super, super simple for them. Look, just watch this 1-minute video and then you're going to be able to know exactly who I am, if I'm a closer for you, and if it's the right fit, and you can just send them out in mass. So I prefer the direct loom and the direct results approach personally, more than anything. Now, there is an easy route to this. Now, sometimes in life, it is okay to take the shortcuts, and it's what all of our students have done to get the biggest role in the industry. We trained and placed Catherine into Uzma Patel's coaching business. If you go look her up, she's a massive coach, making 10K every single month. Or Andrew, we trained and placed into Smith Reese's offer, now making 8 to 12K a month. Getting a dream role is hard without connections. You're going to have to send outreach every single day at mass spend, and maybe even not get a really good role because you can't reach them people. Think of how many hundreds of people are reaching out to Smith Reese or Uzma Patel. Instead, we're running thousands and thousands of dollars in ads. We're going to these places. We're traveling. We're building connections. We're networking. We have teams behind us to literally network and connect to get these roles. It is easier to come through us than it is to go and find it yourself. So we guarantee placement into high level, setting plus sales roles. So there's a link below to check out Multiply Sales if you do want to get a trained and also a guaranteed role. In my opinion, it's the best option. If you've watched this video and you think closing is for you and high ticket sales is for you, then it's literally a $497 investment. We don't need the money off it. We just want that to make sure that you're obviously committed and to just break even with the teams, but it's $497. Our main offer at our agency is $10,000. The difference is crazy. Like, if the money isn't in it for us, we just want to make sure that you're invested in yourself. We're vetting you out, and obviously we're making sure, because there's sales coaches, other coaches. And we have 2 coaches in there, a setting coach and a sales coach, right? And a bunch of modules, etc. We've got an AI software that you can role play with. The amount of stuff inside of there, even if, just getting in there, if you think high ticket sales is for you, because it's going to be able to train you, get you to one of the best in the industry, also get you roles, even if, get you one role, get you a next role, because there's always roles going inside of there. In my opinion, it's the best investment you can make. There's a bunch of other people in the space charging 3, 4, 5 grand for setting coaching. They can't get you placed. They literally only coach themselves. There's no coaches in there. There's no AI bots that you can role play with. There's no trainings. There's no nothing. There's just like a couple modules. It's not worth it, okay? Obviously, so like I said, if that sounds like something for you, you can click the top link below and get signed up today. It'll be, one of the best decisions that you make, okay? And you can obviously see the results, the testimonials on the page. But yeah, that's, in my opinion, the best way that you can do it. Now, contracting into the role. Now, contracting into the role is crucial, especially if you're not a massive brand or company, due to the risk of getting scammed. So this is what we give to all of our closers at Multiply Sales. Just an agreement to sign of what you're doing, how much you're getting paid, when you're getting paid, what it looks like, everything like that. And obviously, once this is signed, this means that you are legally you know, you're legally going to get paid. I see a lot of setters and closers getting scammed. Obviously, working with us, that's not going to happen because we know the clients. But obviously, working with, you know, people randomly, I would recommend using this contract here to make sure that you are all signed in. Everything's confidential that you use. Everything is, you know, under the payment, and you know what you're getting paid for, and obviously the, you know, what happens in the work, etc., and everyone's on the exact same page with everything. So that is landing a role. So that's pretty much everything for how to become a high ticket closer. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys got a bunch of value out of it. I look forward to seeing a bunch of you become high ticket closers. I also look forward to seeing a bunch of you join multiplysales.io and obviously get ramped up and let us place you guaranteed into a role. But like I said, in my opinion, I generally say this from the bottom of my heart. Whenever I tell, like, I've told all of my, you know, people that I know from like school or people that I know from stuff like that, is like, I've told them to become setters. I've told them to become closers because it is by far the best way to make money, the best skill, etc. To obviously start scaling up and ramping, okay? Like I said, if you need any of these sheets, need any advice, need any help from me, then DM me on Instagram. Again, the link is below. But if you want to get trained and guaranteed placement, Multiply Sales is also linked down below. So just check out the links below. I'll speak to you guys very soon.